All right, everyone, we are back.
We're back.
DJ Cutman is in the house.
I made it. I was playing Pokemon Go, and I thought I was feeling confident about San Francisco, and I ended up about 15 blocks away from where we are right now, but it's okay. I caught some stuff, and then the servers went down, and I had to open up Google Maps, and I was like, oh, I thought this place didn't look that familiar. But we made it, and we're here on time, so that's good.
Dude, I'm very glad, you're safe and sound.
Yeah. It's a nice day today, though.
Yeah,
so
I just knowing the area that you were probably in, it can be a little scary down there. So.
It was nicer than the direct route I took yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know where I went, but it's fine. It was fine.
Good.
I made it.
All right, in one piece, healthy, ready. Okay.
Yes,
good.
ready to go.
Yes, awesome.
Today we're going to be finishing up the animated album art we started yesterday. We worked on animating some characters and building out the artwork that we did the first day. So first day was Photoshop, getting the art all set up in HD 1080p. Then we moved over to After Effects. We built it out. We did some character animation with the puppet tool and a little bit of lighting effects. And today we're going to take a look at the stems, the source song, individual parts to see what we can animate with. And hopefully we'll finish up the whole thing by the end of the stream.
Yay.
Let's do it.
Awesome. All right, so we're going to dive right in. People have been waiting for you. So lucky to have DJ Cutman with us here today. And also a hello from Megan Keene and from Nikisha. So they were with me for the first 40 minutes or so. And they were
did I miss them?
Yeah.
Geez.
Sorry, they had to go, but it was great. And we were actually talking about you, them meeting you there at VidCon.
Right, yeah.
And just the vibe and the feeling and all the positivity that emanated from there. And we were talking about that you, among several of our users that really we've kind of come to know and love very effortlessly. That you have so much going on. You're all of your various YouTube properties, and not just YouTube. So many places.
There's so much stuff. There's DJ Cutman, me, the performer who you may have seen at a convention DJing, or on Twitch playing music. There's my podcast This Week in Chiptune. There is my record label Game Chops, and I never know which logo to show people.
Right. Yeah. What are you rocking
right
today?
now? I'm actually rocking. My friends do a high-end gamer keyboard and mouse company called Fanatic, and I just went over and had a meeting with them, more like a hangout. And they hooked me up with this hat, and I feel really cool. I'm from the East Coast, from Philadelphia. I'm from Philadelphia, and here on the West Coast, there's this thing that honestly I thought was a joke, but it's pretty cool now that I have a black on black hat.
Yeah.
So can you see the logo if the light catches it right? So it's pretty cool. And I worked as a graphic designer for a long time, and black on black was always the joke when the client wanted something that was ridiculous. So just put it on black, that'll be great. But I've seen brands out of California, specifically LA and San Francisco, that do this black on black design, and I really like it. As much as it was the graphic design joke, it's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I actually don't have a black I am a house DJ
curved
hat. So I figure add it to my big collection. I'm a man of many hats, literally.
Okay, right. Good one.
Yes. So,
cool. Okay.
Let's take a look here at Audition. We have Audition up.
First.
I've dumped all of the stems of the track out, and I hope that these sync up properly with the track. So let's bring down the house music, and let's just take a look. I'm afraid. I'm going to start quiet.
Okay.
Oh, look at that red line.
Wow.
I thought that So this is the sample, A, and we're probably not going to sync anything to this, because it's a little too beefy, so let me just mute this. We have our bass. Probably not going to use that either, because it's just so constant, and with a few exceptions, it goes down, but we're looking for something that looks dynamic. So let's mute the bass.
And actually, that was one of the things that we were talking about yesterday, and people were asking about, would you time things to the bass? And in a lot of cases, the bass doesn't, if it's too busy, it's not going to work. It's too much. And if it's just sort of too constant, it's just not going to provide enough visual interest to bother.
And in this track, it is constant. It is the whole time.
Right.
So some things that we could play with is the hi-hat track, which is, come back down here.
Nice.
The hi-hat track, which we hear right now. They're quick attacks. I'm not sure what element we could use for that, but it might be kind of interesting. Let's see what else we have. We have, of course, the vocal. No, that's not the vocal.
Oh, yeah.
Where is it?
TV, comics,
Some
gaming,
vocal.
we proclaiming the landscape is changing.
And then we would have the chorus. Where's those chorus steps?
Yeah,
Here it
that's
is.
So now we gotta bring it straight to the people.
What might be nice is if we export a track that is the chorus and the verse together, and we have like a vocal thing.
This is a nerd's world. Up, down, now we got nothing. Dreamer of improbable dream.
So that might be fun. These two tracks together. So why don't we just go ahead and render this out? And I just like so hope that this is timed to the render that we have in After Effects. If not, we'll just have to squeeze it and line it up. Shouldn't be too hard. Let's do the entire session, and we'll dump it to a wave.
Okay.
Oh, my untitled session 1. Awesome.
Yep, so that you can find it later.
Yeah, exactly.
Keep it so you can find it later.
So I'm just going to go to my desktop and drop it into my up, down, down stems, and this is going to be vocal mix down.
What's up, Paul Tranny? Paul wants your hat.
Oh, there you go.
That's
You
right.
found it. Nice. Black on black, man. It's a real thing.
That's right.
Yeah, all right, so let's go and take a look at what else we have. We have the bass, of course, which we've already decided not a good thing.
Right.
We have the kick and the snare. These are particularly fun to work with because they're very punchy, very quick in this mix in particular.
Right. They're staccato. So and that's like probably a good thing to keep in mind, like for this sort of technique. The more staccato the attack, the more punch you're actually going to give the visual. Right?
Yeah, exactly. So the kick and the snare together, actually.
Like if these were 80s gated snare, like it's probably less effective.
Yeah,
right?
but this is like really punchy, really
and
snappy,
tight,
so that'll be great. So and we can just look at the waveform, and you can see all these. They're very, very clear to see these two guys coming up. So let's go ahead and
That's awesome.
And just make sure it's the whole thing. It looks like there's some junk at the end, but that's okay. We won't need that. And the hi-hats, I'm thinking we probably won't use the hi-hats to key anything here because they're maybe just a little bit too quick. And when we bring these to After Effects, it's only looking at, it's only going to be looking at, I could just drop it right into Premiere. That's pretty cool. All right, we got this. Ooh. Is currently open for editing and can't. All right. So we're just gonna say this is the drums mixed down.
Yeah. Oh.
Oh, that's right, because I canceled it. Yeah.
Yes. Right.
All right. So let's just take a look. Up, down, down stems. Here's our new thing. State modify. We have our drums and our vocal.
Yes.
I have this little program I call Fission, and I like it because it's laser fast at just looking at it. Yes, that looks like the vocal. Great. We'll throw the drums mix down in.
Oh, nice. Yes,
it allows you to. This program's really cool. Is it by Rogue Amoeba? What's your company name, guys?
Yep,
Rogue
Rogue
Amoeba. These guys make a bunch of cool little utility apps that are perfect for like sort of working with other apps. And like this is my program I just go to when I need to take a look at a file real quick and be like, okay, yes, that's right.
Nice.
And waveform's nice and big.
Yeah.
It also allows you to edit the waveform, edit the file without recompressing. So you can open up an MP3 in
nice.
it, trim out the beginning and the end, which is what I do for my podcast. I hit record, then I often will rehearse my intro on the recording, and then when the recording of the podcast done, pop it open in Fission, trim the start and the end point. And the beautiful thing is I don't have to worry about reconverting it to a wave and then an MP3 again.
Losing
I can just,
quality, yeah.
Yeah, which is really, really nice. I also just like it when I want to look at the waveform and be like, is this crushed to hell or is it okay?
Right.
So I'm going to leave Audition up in case we decide we
Yep.
want something else, but now let's pop open After Effects.
Yes.
And we're done with you, Fission. You great little guy. That's pretty awesome that you like have a playlist of the Game Chops music like already ready to go.
we were
That's
planning
compliments of Twitch, right? That's their.
That yeah.
Or are you on the Game Chops?
It's on Twitch.
It is on Twitch. Okay.
That's awesome. The Game Chops playlist on Spotify is very choice though too, and this is a lot of the older stuff because Twitch.
Oh, okay.
They made me send like the biggest spreadsheet I've ever made because Game Chops has over 300 songs now. But when this went up, it was like 168, and I remember that number because I had to get the ISRC code for
this is
every
what you were
single
saying.
track. Every single track for Twitch to put it in their library.
And if you don't know what the ISRC codes are, these are these individual codes which traditionally, this is what when, not just DJs, and I mean like sort of traditional radio DJs, but jukeboxes and all of these things, when they would spin a track, it's the ISRC code which would get manually written down, right?
Really?
For years, yeah. And that would get submitted to performance rights societies to allow you to get your mechanical royalty for a play or a spin.
Yes. Oh my gosh, it is a real thing.
It's a real thing. Now, the process, of course, is
Need
totally
my thumb
automated,
drive.
but if someone said, hey, can you give me the ISRCs for those 168 tracks? Not so easy. It's manual. You have to go back to the master. You got to go through your, like, and I experienced this too, to your digital distributor, find all of those. It could be, I could imagine what the spreadsheet was looking like.
It was BES for sure.
Paul Tranny says DJ Cutman is the man, tough to master audio and graphics both. Hell yeah, he's the man. That is why we have the Cutman here.
I'm the cut man
That's
by
right.
definition. So I have my 2 cloned USB drives
Nice.
because I'm a DJ, and naturally because I am a human being, one of them has everything I want on it, and one of them has nothing that I want on it. So let's hope that we get it right. One of them, they were used to
Echo
both
set.
be formatted for CDJs.
Yep.
And then oh look, I got the right one. Great.
Nice.
And they're identical. These things are awesome. Little Samsung.
Yeah.
They say that they're like water and impact proof, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure I could break this.
Yeah.
But the beauty thing about it is it's 64 gigs. It was
Nice.
$18.
Nice. And they're USB 3, right?
And they're USB 3, yeah. They're blue,
Super. Yeah.
which is nice. All right, let's crack this project open, and that should have relinked our broken thing, and sure enough it did. So here we go. Here's our project.
Okay.
Let's take a look. How did we do yesterday?
Yeah.
Oh, everybody's moving. Cutman is kind of
Nice.
undulating and
Yeah.
it's sped up. It's pretty weird. Everybody's jelly time. So let's pull out our work area. So, wow, we did so much stuff yesterday. I'm going to just do myself a favor and color code these characters that are now animated D&D.
Yes.
Megaran. This is the glow from Cutman. We'll pull that off. And we'll make all the characters yellow. Mm-hmm. The glows and shadows. Let's just make the glows. Another color, I think lavender. They already are lavender. I think seafoam.
Seafoam. Why these color choices still? I've never
Figured it out. But
never quite gotten the exact answer.
I
but-
think, now I could be wrong, and I am wrong. I was gonna say because every color starts with its own letter, because you can like just hit B for blue or O for orange. But there's sandstone and seafoam,
Yeah.
and apparently if you hit S 3 times, it's like yellow.
Right. Yeah.
Just round up to yellow.
So this kind of, again, brings to mind something that we were talking about, and I've actually done a whole bunch of stuff on with just like this idea of color coding like tracks, like content. People are always asking, like, is that a necessity? Gosh, I never change the color at all. And if you're doing something with just a few layers, okay, it's not necessarily essential. But when you've got something like what we're looking at here, where you have easily, 10, 15, 20 layers, and you've got a lot of different elements. You've got, individually separated characters, and then maybe you've got separated parts of the character, and the shadows are separate, and you've got the smoke and all the lighting elements on adjustment layers. It really helps to organize so that you visually can know, oh, okay, all the characters are red, or all the elements that need to move are blue, and all the shadows are in yellow, or whatever it is.
Right, and it makes it, especially when we start really opening up all these things, just being able to look at a glance, oh yeah, and what I've done without a whole lot of planning is I've gone ahead and color-coded the things that need to stay together. So Cutman and his eye light, this guy.
Yep.
Boop, boop, boop. We don't want these guys migrating away from each other, so this is just going to help me keep track and also at a glance be like, oh yeah,
Yep.
here's D&D Sluggers, he's the green one, here's Megaran, he's the orange one,
Nice.
the background elements, and then we have our beam, which I've made fuchsia to remember that this is a video clip, so
Right.
we're going to let's pull in our audio and let me show you how we can key in. So the way that I do it, it's a little bit of a weird thing because we did some scripting yesterday. And the way that the expressions work is they point to the layer name. The first one is audio amplitude, and the other ones will be named the same thing. So what I like to do, even though it's kind of sus, is I'm kind of copy and paste up, down, down, make a copy of it, delete everything in it so it's just a new one. Now I'm going to pull in those two that we made. Come here. Actually, I'm not going to pull in two that I made. I'm going to pull in just the drums first.
Right.
I'll pull them both into After Effects.
Right.
But if you do convert audio to keyframes, and I don't know if this is intentional or not, but when you select an audio layer and you go convert to keyframes, it will convert all the audio that is active in the document, not just the audio that you have selected. So if I have the vocals and the drums in, I do convert audio to keyframes. We're gonna get keyframes for both of those. That's not what we want.
No.
So first I'm gonna go ahead, keyframe assistant, convert audio keyframes. I'm so happy that it doesn't let you click out of it anymore. That's just great.
Right,
So,
yes.
so let's rename this layer. This is vocal keyframes. And now we delete that vocal layer, we bring in the drums. And honestly, I think the drums are really what's going to be the most fun for this track, but I'm going to have the vocals too in case we're going to do anything. Keyframe Assistant, convert audio to keyframes. And it's done.
Nice.
Now, again, we have to change the name of this one, audio amplified. This is drums, and it really should be drums amplitude.
Yeah.
And this should be vocal amplitude.
Yes.
Amplitude. And the reason I do this in its own project is because I don't, well, that's not spelled right. Vocal amplitude. The reason I do this in its own comp is because I don't want to mess with the comp that's good. So I'm going to copy, cut both of these guys. Boom. Come here. All right, there you go. All right, I'll leave them. They want to stay, so they're going to stay. I'm going to rename this comp amplitudes and just save it. But I'm going to paste it into here, and now we're going to be able to tie expressions to those things.
Yes.
I'm not going to rename the audio amplitude we did yesterday, despite me wishing it was called mixdown amplitude, because that will break all of our expressions. I'll have to go manually find each one, dip wicket or pick wicket back to the other ones.
Pick whip it, yeah.
Nailed it.
Nailed it. Right, yeah, right. What was the? Don't say the first one.
Oh yeah.
That just registered right now. Pick whip.
Okay, so we got.
Yeah.
There's one thing we didn't do yesterday, which is animate the shadow of Cutman, to
right.
mirror the fact that there's movement in the
Yes.
top layer. So I want to just do that really quick. So here's Cutman 1, shadows. Not a great layer.
Yeah.
Oh, well, these are all Cutman. Let's make them all red.
See, color coding like tracks so that you can find things more easily.
Here's a great keyboard shortcut that everybody who does After Effects, I mean, this one changed my life. It's U, just the letter U, and that reveals all,
Right, and U
all
will
tracks
reveal,
that have keyframes on them.
W.
Which the other option is to open it up and find it, but because we don't want to do that, we're not going to do that.
Right.
Instead, we just have all this stuff. I remember that I synced the movement of Cutman to the animation, so I'm just going to close this puppet.
Yeah.
Now we have our shadows. Shadow copy, the one on the ring, I think we can just leave. I don't think it's going to move, but the one that is really obvious is the one right here on the ground. So let's pop it open, and we're not going to do anything nuts to it. We're just going to move the position. I'm at the very start of the comp, 0, 0, 0, 0. You see it? Boom. Very start of the comp.
Yep.
Adding my first keyframe. It's really important to start at the same point when you start animation, because if you start here and then you want to shift it over, you're moving keyframes, and snapping keyframes is not so easy.
And very easy to get confused too. Like
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
Get lost in it.
So what I first did is I added 3 keyframes to this animation already. Boop, 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 boop. And now I'm just going to add this second one. Move it. Let's take a look. If Cutman's moving his head down and forward, I would say that this would probably move like here.
Yeah.
See?
Nice.
Looks good, convincing. Now I'm going to give it the same easing treatment that everything else is. And I did not, now you can go in and really adjust the easing. Take a look with this little
the graph editor.
You can really get in here, but I'm not doing it for this project, and I don't do it for projects when I have a lot of elements I need to be moving in this same exact way so they match up. I would rather take After Effects default kind of smooth motion over something that I'd get more obsessed over, but then would have to recreate on a bunch of layers.
Right.
For me, it's better to get something that's good and consistent than something that's great but might be broken.
Right. So as an Flash, now Animate CC user, that's what inspired the graph editor in After Effects.
That's right.
And
I miss Flash so much. Yeah. There's a Flash pillow out in the.
Oh yeah, you're the FL pillow. That's right.
I saw it. I said goodnight, sweet prince, and posted it on
That's
Instagram.
right. Oh.
Goodnight, sweet Flash.
Oh, sweet Flash. Defy Insanity says, "You hotkey is honestly my life." Yes.
Oh yeah, your whole life, huh?
It's essential. It's essential if you're going to be an AE. Oh, and by the way, while you're doing that, if you look, you don't have to when you get a second to look. But this is what I was talking about yesterday. In fact, I was just making some of this stuff while you were, while we were waiting for your presence. The mirror effect that I was talking about.
Oh, that's right.
So.
Whoa!
Yeah.
That looks like every hipster YouTube video that I'm jealous of.
Yeah.
So that's just mirror effect?
Yeah.
And it just splits it right down the middle, huh?
Well, you can readjust. I mean, there's some movement, and you have like sort of positioning of the mirror. But yeah, like all of this, it's all mirror.
Really?
Yeah.
Whoa, and that's just a built-in effect in the effects and presets folder, huh?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Now some of this is duplicated. These are duplicated layers, but yeah, we've got some mirroring on there too. Very cool. Okay. All right.
Man, I do not know why, but we're getting a little bit of drift here in all these keyframes. Hopefully that doesn't make how close are we to the end?
Oh.
Not close enough.
Wow, okay.
See, I'm not sure how we had
Interesting.
and it's a difference of a frame,
Yeah.
so it's not going to be
Ultimately, right, not...
probably not perceivable.
Right.
But I want everything as close to, if not perfectly on the mark, because I want to be able to shuttle around the keyframes with J and K with everything open.
Right.
And if something's a little bit off, that's an extra tap on the keyboard, and you're probably being like, oh, it's an extra tap. Who cares?
Right.
I care.
Right.
You need to get it right. All right, so
Okay, looking better now. Looks like, was it just those
I'm
few
just
that
gonna.
were out?
No, I don't believe if
Uh-oh.
if it's in the copy and paste, then it's gonna be.
Oh, yeah, then it'll be everywhere. Okay.
Whoa. Oh, I can't figure this out. Maybe you know. How do I copy and paste keyframes on multiple layers? I've done it, but I can't do it. Paste with property links. Paste. Can I do it? Is it all in my? Is it all in my
You
head?
should be able to.
Yeah. See, check it out. If I copy these keyframes on 2 layers, it'll paste the whole layer. I'm just gonna dart through like this then.
Interesting. It's repasting the layer instead?
Yeah. Check it out.
I believe you. That's strange. Wait, I recognize that surfer. Yes. Yes. Well, it hasn't been at IBC yet, Sliced, but it was at NAB. Yes.
All right, we're almost done.
Speed graph is your life. Very nice. So Sliced is saying the way they prefer to do is you can select all the keyframes and use the graph editor to change them, but we're talking about pasting.
Multiple layers,
Yeah.
and that's really the key point here is that we're going to.
I'm curious if you do the paste even though you don't have... Do you have property links yet? Yeah, I mean, you have you've got the expression applied, or you don't yet.
I don't have the expression
Maybe try
applied to these.
paste even though there's no property links yet. I wonder if that would do it.
Well, I already got the bottom one down,
Okay,
so.
we
Oh,
won't
look
worry
at
about
this.
it for now.
What's drifting?
Oh,
And what's strange is that it was. All right, that's correct.
yeah.
All right, these are good.
Drift.
Bop, 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 bop. And drifting is like an audio term when things go out of sync, and it's kind of the same thing going on, but luckily we have control over every
Yeah.
every keyframe, and we're almost done, and it's looking like everything's linked up now. And I just really hope this animation looks good because changing it is gonna suck. Oh my god. There's a problem. Do you see?
Yeah.
The shadow's breaking.
It's going the other direction now.
Okay, let's take a look. This is shadows. All right, I know what's going on. To Photoshop.
Now, what I love is how you're doing a lot of the back and forth between Photoshop and After Effects. 'cause
Oh,
that
yeah.
is, that's kind of the essential path. And this is something that we used to say for those who are getting into sort of motion graphics. And now, of course, Photoshop has, for several versions now, I mean, since CS4 or 3, the timeline, an animation timeline, which
Oh, yeah.
took its keyframing from After Effects. So if you can keyframe and move things in Photoshop, you can do it in After Effects. And we used to say years ago that After Effects is basically like Photoshop on speed. It's just moving. And before the timeline was available in Photoshop, of course. So the concept is virtually the same here.
All right, I know what I have to do. I'm gonna disable the layer mask. Now we have the shadow over the thing. Oh god! All right, come on. Let's hope this works.
Yeah.
We're gonna take the top ring layer, not that ring foreground, and we're gonna do what we really should have done the whole time, which is bring this up above Cutman's shadow.
Yep.
Now there's a second shadow. What's that about? Okay, where's that other one?
Yeah.
Shadow's
Is that
copy.
the- yeah.
So shadow's copy needs to be on top. Ring
that was the
fore-
one that you added afterwards, right?
Right.
Yeah. Mhm.
And now here we go. Boom. And this little shadow, like we could move it, but honestly, I don't think that we're gonna need to for it to be convincing. The one on the ground is what's really important. It's working, right? Are we getting some frames where it goes too high? Let's take a look.
Yeah. It looked like it went a little off there.
It could have just been the fast render, and it looks like it was.
Yep. Okay. Yep.
Which is great. So that's one thing to keep in mind when you're scrubbing around in After Effects. Sometimes when it goes, the fact that it lets you see the animation even if it's crushed is
Right.
just insane. This was not possible.
No, and we were just talking about this just before when I was showing all this rotoscoping, and this is what I was talking about too yesterday. I mean, we don't have to show it on screen, Ruth, but so like here is so I just did the UU on here. Here's all the layers of roto.
Uh-huh.
So like
Is this manually rotoscoped?
Yeah. And that's crazy, right? Just look at how we're scrubbing through this.
Yeah.
All rotoscoped. I mean, come on, that was...
And you can see this fluid animation, and
Yeah.
it's even though, yes, it does get a little crushed because it's still rendering it so fast, and as a
Right.
result, we're seeing things like the bottom of D&D's Sluggish Feet, the
Right.
bottom of that shadow that appears
Right, to be off-screen.
to be off screen, but
it's
when you
actually
let
not.
go and you let it render, it's totally fine.
Yeah, because you're in adaptive res there, and it's just this ability
It's
to kind
just
of...
figuring out,
Yeah.
how quickly can you show the movement, and that's what's really important. Like, does the movement look good? Are everything moving properly? Like, yes, it is. So we addressed the shadow.
Nice.
That's great. We have the ring foreground on the right place. That's awesome too. We were able to go back into Photoshop, just take that mask off. It looks bad here, so let's go ahead and do this. And I'm just doing this for my own mental well-being, getting the Photoshop layers lined up to the After Effects one. Doesn't make a difference in our project.
Right.
It just makes a difference in my sanity
your
and how much
sanity.
of it is left.
Yeah.
So let's do something with these drum tracks. Now we have the DS and the Mega Ran's arm cannon's light currently synced to the beat of the whole master track, but wouldn't it be cool if that was just on the drums? Let's see if that's cool or not. We'll take Mega Ran's glow, or then the other option we can do is the lights in the background. But I actually feel like the drum beat on these layers is going to be really, really cool. So let's go first D&D's glow right here.
And it's the most pronounced, too, so...
It's the most dynamic,
Right,
yeah, so we're going to see it.
So you want to leverage it on something that's going to be really visually obvious and
Yeah.
really drive it, too,
Right, exactly. So, and this is super easy now that we've created these other keyframed amplitude layers. Right here in the expression, we see. Get out of here, you.
My calendar.
This comp,
right,
yeah, audio amplitude, and we'll just put it to drums amplitude. Is that what I call the layer?
I
Yes.
think so,
Boop.
yes.
And now it's updated. And is it? The drums are not as loud as. Wait a minute. Come on. Where is it? Where is it? You know what I sometimes do, and this is a little bit risky, but I pull in the drums track, and this is just a recipe for a broken render, but I'll bring it in and look at the waveform to just see. Oh, here. Right, that's where it should be lit up. Is it lit up? I don't see it. Oh, I'm looking at Mega Ran's thing. It's on D&D's. So let's just take a look at this. I'm gonna mute my computer because we don't need to hear it. We just need to see if is the DS gonna be bumping around.
Yes,
And sure enough, it is.
it is.
I feel like with some of the smaller hits, I don't know if those are kicks or snares, it could be brighter. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna just change this plus 25 to plus 40. Pop. And now I'm gonna just scrub ahead to these big kicks.
Oh, yeah. Look at that.
Boom. You know what I want to do though? I want to make this
What
louder.
do you want to do?
I
What
want
do
to
you
make
wanna
this
do?
louder. So let's go ahead and oh, this is a sum track. Da-da-da-da. For the sake of the stream,
Now,
Mm-hmm.
you could, on that audio clip, go right into Audition, adjust the amplitude, and it'll send it right back into the timeline.
oh, how would I do that though?
Yeah. So you can select, here, do you select it on the clip in the project panel there?
Yeah. Oh, in the
Okay.
project panel, yeah. Drums mixed down. Okay.
Yeah, and you should just be able to do Command E, edit original,
Select the. Ooh, look at
and
this.
you want to do, so you don't want to open the session, you want to just go to the waveform editor
All right,
because you're
let's
going
do
to
it, yes.
edit the actual file itself.
This is exciting.
Right.
I'm glad that I'm getting to learn too. This is fun.
Now, it's probably open in Audition already. I don't know why we didn't see it. Oh, or is Audition
oh, welcome to my computer.
crashed?
No, minimized.
Okay,
Cool.
there it is.
So here it is. So let's throw a plugin on here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy. Now we're really getting into my area.
And you can verify that we are actually on that named track, because you can see it up in the waveform. there.
Awesome. So I'm gonna pull in a VST3. Since we talked about it, let's see if the waves are gonna even pop up. Man, these are always sorted in different ways. Specializer, yeah. Awesome. That's definitely what I want. VST3, we'll go to dynamics, we'll go to waves, and
Wow, you have a lot of Waves plugins.
Oh yeah.
You
I
have
love
even
them.
more than I do.
Oh yeah, I love them. I love them. So let's just use. We'll keep things. Actually, let's do the L316. No, you know what? We'll use the L2 because it's less intense and it'll get the job done a little bit faster. So waves L2. All right. If you want to mute the stream music, we'll be able to hear these gorgeous drums.
Yep.
Once I unmute my. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the threshold on this limiter down.
Remember, the threshold is the point at which limiting and compression will begin.
And the idea is just to get these guys hitting real hard and getting every hit.
And getting every hit really consistent so that it's going to make that screen pulsate in the same way.
And they're all going to go up to the top amplitude, which is what After Effects is reading. It also looks like we have some snares that for some reason are way louder than everything else, so. All right, so then do I just save it and it goes back?
Well, so you're going to want to apply the effect.
All right, effects in this apply. If you would like to apply these, press the apply button.
Yeah, so you need to, so you'll apply it.
Pop.
All right.
And now it's done, and you can see now the waveform is huge.
You're going to want to save,
Save it.
You should be able to close that file right here.
Okay, and click over back, and look at that! Oh my God, now it's big, and you can see it update. But now, unfortunately, we're going to have to go back to our amplitudes project, delete the drum amplitude, paste it, right-click, keyframe assistant, convert audio to keyframes, and then there we go. And then we're gonna go rename it again. This is drums amplitude. And the beautiful thing about expressions is, I'm going to just be able to go to drums amplitude, delete it. After Effects goes, oh no, there's an error. I'll just paste it. Because it has the same name, the expression just goes ahead and updates it, and now we should be able to see that DS screen really popping. Look at that, boom, boom, boom.
Oh, yeah.
Oh man, it's cool. Now I'm wondering, is it gonna be lame because it's not always going? Well, we'll address that when it's time to address that. So the D&D Slugger's Glow, I'm gonna go ahead and pull this second jump crack out because I've confirmed, yes, it does work.
Yep.
We're gonna go to the Mega Ran Glow now and do the same thing to it. Go into the expression. Here it is, just changing it to drums amplitude.
Terror Coy loves learning so much stuff and loves learning to see how you do it.
Yay!
Yes, you've been fiddling with much simpler video stuff recently. It's nice to see that it gets easier. Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, like it's all about the hours you put into it. Some guy who writes books said that you need to put 10,000 hours into something and then you're an expert at it. And Malcolm Gladwell, I think that's who it is. He's one of the only authors that I want to read every book he put out.
Yeah.
And I think it's true. It's really a matter of experience. People always say, hey, Cutman, what do you want to do to get good at video game remixing, or good at video editing, or good at Photoshop? And I'm like, just do it.
Right.
Just put in the hours. That's it.
Just keep doing it.
And
all the time.
if you're young, or you're in high school or college, and you're still learning, and you feel like getting real, and you're maybe you've used these programs a little bit, but you're seeing other people do stuff, and it's so cool, and you feel like your stuff doesn't stack up. That is totally normal. Your taste is going to outperform, what's the word? Your taste is going to exceed your ability for probably your whole life. But as you put in more stuff, you'll get things closer and closer and closer to the way you would really like them, and then one day, you'll just be able to do it. You'll be able to pull stuff out. Like this whole animated album art thing came as a result of me feeling a compulsion to make some sort of animation for these videos. And then all of a sudden, I looked back at my channel and there were 20 of them that to me were just perfect. Like they were just awesome and just totally great. And it was like not me trying to do anything else. At first it was me trying to emulate these other music channels that had something cool, but I couldn't get the visualizer looking so cool, so I tried this other stuff, and now I have come across something that is sort of wholly my own. And that just came from a result of doing and doing and doing, and then I stumbled on something, and now the videos on the Game Chop channel are totally unique. And that's awesome. And that wasn't my plan, and that wasn't what I had set out to do. I just kept putting in the hours, and before I knew it, I had come across something that sort of became, the trademark. So just keep at it. That's it. Learn as much as you can and just keep creating.
Just keep creating. Just keep swimming.
If you want to bring down the house music, we'll be able to test out the house. I guess that was a house song. Oh, Mega Rant's is broken. That was weird. Did you hear that?
I did hear that.
I was scrolling. All right, Mega Ran Glow, drums amplitude, slider, up. It was not turned on.
User error. User error.
Is that a Behringer board?
It is.
Those effects are kind of surprisingly versatile.
They're not bad. They're a little heavy.
They're wet.
Heavy,
yeah, it's pretty wet.
But they're not bad.
Woo.
They're nice. Nicer than they used to be years ago. Like
Oh yeah, the mixer effects are typically
Yeah.
like the worst you can
Ooh,
find.
like the worst sounding reverbs, just keep swimming. That's right, Paulina. The worst sounding reverbs, like the delays. That was the worst, right? Because they were harsh digital delays that had no high frequency roll off.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
so,
just
so everything would have the same high frequency all the time. Oh my God, it was like headache inducing. Okay.
It looks like it's off. It feels off, right?
I don't know. The kick looks right to me.
Is it in my head? I mean, maybe it's
No, I
good.
think it's okay.
Up.
The glows seem on to me.
The glows are good. All right, so
Yeah.
then this is what we're gonna do, just for my own neuroses. We're gonna pull the drum mix down back into the track. We're gonna look at it LL, see the waveform, and zoom in here. Yep, it's on. Like there you go.
Yep.
Like you could see it. Boom.
Yep, right there.
Oh, look.
Oh, well, no, look at that.
It's about a frame off.
Okay.
Wait, it's not.
No, but
No,
it's back on there.
We're gonna go shuttle down here. Boop. A great way to see if something's off or not is if it looks okay, just like rock it down to another part of your song.
Oh, yeah.
I had a buddy, a DJ, who used to do a lot of sample-based music, and he would say like if it's on at the beginning and on at the end, then it's fine.
Well, yeah,
If it
that's-
drifts a little bit
yeah.
in the middle, maybe that's just artsy.
And that's
LL.
something to consider too. 1 frame audio drift for like 4 minutes.
It's probably okay.
It's probably okay. Worst cases, you can go down to what is referred to in Premiere as audio units. So actually in sample level.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I didn't even know that in Premiere.
Yes, sir.
Audio units. Because
Yeah.
that's important because I've had a couple things where I'm like a frame or two off.
So let me show you. Let me show you while we're doing that.
All right, I have an idea, so please show me because I got to
Okay.
do a little bit of...
All right. So this is 2 seconds, really very quick. So here, in your so this is here. This is a boring timeline here, but so obviously we're in frames.
Yeah.
If you go to the flyout menu.
Never clicked that.
Okay, and it's for each of your timelines here, you'll see that you have something here called Show Audio Time Units.
Oh, okay.
So first of all, you'd never find that, and I've been saying this for a very long time. Audio time units
Yeah.
means nothing.
Yeah, it's not a thing.
It's not a thing. It's not a thing to an audio person. It's not a thing to an engineer. It's not a thing to anybody. I don't know what that means, but what it should say is samples.
Yeah.
Because that's what it is showing you,
Ah.
samples per second. So when you turn on Show Audio Time Units, now
Oh my
you've got
God.
this 5-position time counter because we're in 48K, 48,000 samples per second.
Yeah.
And what that means, of course, now is like if you were to zoom in.
you
here,
can
yeah.
get way in
Yeah,
there.
sure. So you can get all the way down to the beginning there. And this is, sometimes this is stuff you have to do where it's like,
Particularly with ADR or syncing some kind of
Absolutely.
audio after the fact.
Absolutely. And like a frame isn't enough, so you can just nudge it or move it. And actually, as you're doing that, you'll see it's giving you the actual sample count here. That's really
Wow.
nice. So yeah, that's really cool.
Good old audio time units.
Time unit. That means nothing. Now, I can't emphasize that enough. That needs to be changed at some point. That has almost driven me to drink on many occasions. Now, the one caveat here,
Uh-huh.
buyer beware here. Remember to turn that off and go back into frames.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Oh, yeah.
what'll happen is, especially if you don't have snapping turned on, you're gonna move things and they're gonna look like they're aligned. Now they're really not gonna be aligned because now you've got 48,000
Little units
notches
instead of your 30 or
instead
your
of 30
60.
or 60 or 24, whatever you're working in. So yeah, so that's a little bit on audio time units. All right.
Okay, so what I did, because I felt like the time between the kick and the snare, it was lame. It was lame because we were getting the pulses on the beat, which is great, but the composition didn't look good without any glow. So what I did is I went ahead and I duplicated the glow layers, layer them on top of each other with the expression we originally had, audio amplitude, effect, both channels. Basically, I took the math off the end of it. So originally we had plus 25,
Right.
so that even when the track was silent, we had 25% opacity on the glow. We don't have that anymore, but we're making up for it for the fact that we have these kick and the snare glows.
That's right.
So what we should have now is more robust kind of bright glows, and at some points they'll actually get way brighter than they ever were before. Look at this. So I'll turn off the Mega Man glow, and then we have the other Mega Man glow, right? So this is with the kick and the snare glow, right as a snare hits, so there's our glow, but then we also have this other glow layering over it. I'm going to just get the glows right on top of each other like this. So now we actually have this a little bit more like kind of cool, blown out. But we're also fixing the issue where there was no glows when the kick and snare weren't happening, which is actually changing the art.
Right.
There's always these glows in the album art design, and I think it's really important to maintain all of these great elements that the artist has gone ahead and put in. It looks like Cutman's eye glow has somehow moved off of his face, so we'll address that. But now let's just take a little look and see how this little clip looks now that we have 2 layered glows. Again, the blend mode on both of these glows are add, and I find that the additive blend mode actually looks very good when you stack a few of them on top of each other.
Right.
Other blend modes like color dodge can get gross if they're layered on top of each other. Some other safe ones to play with where if you don't want to gross up your image but you want some kind of effect, overlay and soft light. They're very mild and you can layer them without anything getting too blown out, distorted, or getting this kind of color clipping thing where where the color will actually get blown out and a soft gradient will turn to a solid color. Certain blend modes like color dodge classic will do that. Look at that.
And the smoke. Smoke is
The smoke is awesome. Yeah,
So
it's
freaking
like
awesome.
it's like I almost didn't see it. It's so good. All right, we have to do something. I didn't want to do it. We have to do it. The glow on Mega Ran's head
I was
is
gonna say,
when it's dumb.
I knew it was.
It's
I knew,
dumb.
yeah.
You knew it was coming, right?
I knew it was.
When it was 1 layer, it was fine. When it's 2, it's too much.
and it's too
on the
noticeable
snare,
now.
it doesn't make sense.
No.
It doesn't make sense to have this
On his head.
on his head.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's because it's not the lights above the ring that are flashing. It's
Right.
it's the robotic, it's the electronic part of the characters that are doing this. So I'm just gonna
Right.
right click on this. I'm gonna go to mask. Well,
Yes.
there's our mask, and I'm just nice and easy. Pull this down. And because we have 2 layers doing this, because we have a layer on, because we have the kick and snare layer, because we have the other layer, we're going to be able to take out one with a mask and the other one will still be there. So the glow on his head attached to the whole song will still be there. We'll still see a little flicker up here for that. But the kick and snare one, which was
Won't
way more
accentuate
obvious,
it, yep.
won't hit his head. So now there's like the tiniest little bit of flicker on his head, but you can almost barely see it. It really blends into this video clip that we have in the background, and yet we still have everything. This would not be possible if we didn't have these 2 layers. So
Right, exactly.
sometimes it really helps to, even though, this project is, where are you, Photoshop? This project is, I don't know, 10 layers in Photoshop. It is now 21 layers in After Effects. That's fine. Because it's all referencing the same Photoshop file, if we decided that we want Mega Ran to have a different haircut, we can still go into the Photoshop document, give him the haircut, and save it. It'll update all the layers. So it's really, really nice to do this kind of layering and building on top of each other within After Effects once our Photoshop project is all set. That's why we spent the entire first day just in Photoshop making sure everything was right.
Yep.
So now we have this.
Sweet.
Bump, 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 bump. And now we're going to have to deal with Cutman's glow,
Yes.
which is this separate ping, because I decided to do it after the fact. And it actually looks like it's a little bit off. It's off.
It's off,
It's
yeah.
off. Okay,
It's
so
off.
you.
Not me.
All right, so then.
All right, so
Alright.
Judness is asking, will After Effects be best for VFX? And I saw your comment a moment ago to do like explosions and things. So it really depends on what you're trying to do. You know, if you're trying to work with, for instance, particle systems or something like that, yes, After Effects is wonderful for working with particles. If you're trying to do Cinema 4D style, first of all, Cinema 4D Lite ships with After Effects. We have a direct 3D pipeline between After Effects and C4D. Yes, and Grungy says there's After Effects tutorials on YouTube. You can actually find some of mine talking about AE and C4D integration. So they can be used in tandem. You know, if you're, and so anybody would tell you, again, particle systems or even something that's doing any kind of, like you said, explosion, fire, those kinds of things, can be created in either or, but they can also be leveraged together. And if you just download the trial of After Effects CC, you'll have the ability to use C4D as well. It comes in the installer. Which is seamless to you. You don't actually even install anything anymore. You'll just, well, you do, but you don't have to click and do a whole bunch of stuff. So, and Maya is just another, it's just another 3D application, you know. There's also integration with Maya, and a lot of people have used Maya and AE together for years.
I just put
That's right.
it's
Yeah,
my
right.
DJ
I was
instinct.
gonna say it
kicked
got
in.
very quiet for a moment there. Yes. Yeah, there is no absolute better. Very true, Cerise.
This is a little bit of a hack, a life hack. But if you have a project that you really want to program that you don't have, like After Effects, for example, you want to try something out, you can absolutely download the demo and finish the gig, and then use that money from the gig to buy a license. And
Look at that right there.
I've done that with my favorite plugin company, FabFilter. I downloaded their FabFilter Pro Q, their EQ equalizer, because I was just so
And
sick
this is
of
one
the
you said that actually you love this one.
I love it. I love it.
Right.
It changed my life, and I downloaded the demo because something happened. Oh, my Wave licenses were on an old computer. Didn't transfer them. Didn't have them. I hate Ableton's built-in EQs. I just can't do it. I can't do it. It makes everything sound like I don't want it to sound.
Right.
So I downloaded this demo and I used it for the weekend to finish up this one project. Oh, you know what? I was collaborating with another producer who used this thing, and so I had to have
you
it.
had
I
to
wasn't
have it,
drop
right.
$200 to like finish up a collab. But sure enough, before I had the thing on my computer, you get a 30-day demo. I had it on my computer for less than a week, and I bought a license.
Yeah.
I finished the song, put it out. I was like, hey, that was really nice using that EQ. I finished the song's done. Then I messed with it on my own, just played around with it for a couple more days, and I was like, I need this.
And that was it. And that's kind of the whole point. It's just, that's why these trials are so great. Similarly for the applications, but also for the plugins as well. And still, it continues. Yeah. So now you're talking about Nuke. I mean, now we're kind of in a different world when you're sort of comparing Nuke and C4D and Maya and AE. Most of these applications, maybe excluding Nuke, although it's not that like you don't ever see someone who uses Nuke also using AE, but certainly a lot of these are used in tandem. All right, and they all do great things. I think you can safely say that for certain, After Effects for motion graphics and VFX is and has been an industry standard for years.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So you're looking for something that's going. I mean, Andrew Kramer, Video Copilot, just did a whole bunch of the effects for Star Wars, let alone in After Effects. Using Element 3D. So I don't know if Star Wars is a measure for anything. The best. I mean, he did it in After Effects, and he showed like his raw compositions of, here's how we did that readout, that heads-up display. Here's how we did all these various things inside the Millennium Falcon. They use
so
it.
awesome.
Yeah. So,
And and it's solid software, and the beauty of it is how flexible it is.
Right.
I have a film degree. I like to tell people that because I'm a DJ, and that's clearly where my work has found myself.
Right.
And it's not about the education. It's not about what you did in school. It's about your understanding of the tools and your ability to figure out a way to do what it is that you work. This animated album art, again, it came of me trying to emulate other YouTube videos visualizers, but I have now come across this thing that is wholly my own, and
Yes.
it came from me not being able to copy the thing
Right.
that
That's what
I
I love
was
about
trying
it.
to do. And so much I think of my best work has been the sidetracks, the mistakes, and the kind of this is not what I was going for, but it turned out really cool.
Right. Oh, and thank you, Eva Cerise, for that. Yeah, Joni B. Unfortunately, a lot of my older, I haven't done any After Effects ones in a while. That's why I was saying yesterday to Cutman that like a lot of the ones that I did with some of these older features, they used to be on Adobe TV, so you can probably find them elsewhere. But there's a lot of stuff. I don't even remember all of what's up on Jason Levine Video, not just tutorials, but you'll find some there. Also, if you just want to remind me, send me a whisper and I can tell you where to find other ones. Naturally, though, of course, you can also find lots of After Effects tutorials on CC Learn. Actually, I believe Michael Shez has After Effects tutorials as well. And are you M. Shez or Michael Shez on YouTube? Michael Shez. So you can find Michael Shez on YouTube, CC Learn, of course, and I think there's a lot of people who've republished some of my older ones on YouTube, so you can find some of them there. Yeah,
Time to get Constant ID on that.
Yeah, some of it's old, so I kind of just let it go. I mean, they're old tutorials, but yeah, I actually found one, and I was going to ask you about this because you probably encountered it. This is a couple of years ago. I found someone who actually did a tutorial. And they basically extracted my voice, but they kind of redid the screen.
Yeah?
Yeah, so
this
strange.
Is kind of an honor.
It was kind of weird though. I'm like, wait a minute, that's on a. At the time, I had just gone back to Mac. I'm like, that's a Windows PC, but
so they took your voiceover
of what I was saying
and
to do.
redid it.
Yeah, and
That's unusual.
it's unusual. And then I found somewhere it's just a total rip, and it actually has someone else's name in it, like
Oh, really?
Here's Fred Jones presenting Premiere.
If you normally you need a YouTube network to do this, but what you can do is put a content ID claim on the audio. This is mostly done for music.
Yeah, of course. Right.
But you own that audio, so you could say to a YouTube network or to, I don't know if you can do it to Google directly, but I
Yeah.
know YouTube networks do this.
Yeah.
You could say, hey, this is my audio, I want to claim it, and also this video specifically is using it, so let's get that claim on there real quick. If they're getting 1,000 views, who cares?
Right.
You can normally post a comment saying, hey, this is my audio, please link to my channel, and that will do you better than getting somebody else's
someone
ad,
involved. Yeah,
somebody else's ad revenue, which, could literally and probably is pennies.
Right. Right.
But a link back could get you a viewer for life.
Could get you a viewer for life. And yes, they are Mac and Windows. So all of the Adobe CC applications, Mac and Windows.
So if anybody's looking closely, you may notice that I'm going back to what I did yesterday because I missed a keyframe and this animation didn't work. There was a part where Cutman got, everybody else seems to be working pretty well, but there was a part where Cutman, I duplicated the same frame, I had to go back. I think I figured out why I wasn't able to copy and paste on multiple layers too.
Did you have?
You have to have them selected when you paste. For
were
example,
you not? Oh, okay. It looked like you had the layer selected.
Yeah, well,
you do have to have it selected.
You have to have the property selected.
Yeah.
Not
yes,
the whole
what
layer.
you're pasting to.
Right,
Correct.
exactly.
Yes.
And if you don't, it just pastes a whole new layer.
So if you're copying position keyframes, position has to be selected.
Right,
Yes,
exactly. So that may be. Let's look.
It looked like you. I thought you had that selected because I was looking.
I'm almost certain that I was clicking on the layer.
On the
name.
layer itself, not the property. Okay.
So now I just gotta watch his eye. We're doing good. We're doing. What happened there? And because this is a layer, because this glow is attached to the Cutman eye, even though it sucks, I'm going through and making sure every single one is on point. Like this one's off.
Yeah.
And will somebody notice it again? Probably not if one's a keyframe off, but I want it right, damn it. Like I want to make sure it's perfect, because if it's perfect now, then it's gonna render perfectly. If it's perfect in the sequence, and look. All right, we're getting there. We're getting there. I want to cheese it, I really do, but I'm not gonna. How does this happen? How does this happen? This is a great thing. Maybe it feels boring to watch, but this is a really important thing. This shit happens in every single project. And this little detail work, going through and nailing every frame. Look, this one's 2 frames off. Holy shit, like, oh my gosh.
Right.
Sorry, holy gosh.
Right. No one would see it, but yes.
But doing this is what makes my videos
right.
and any
Different
professional's
from the
video
rest. Yep.
stand out, is that it's not that all of my frames are exactly on and there is no frame drift in this one shiny layer. It's
That's
that
right.
every layer has been looked at the frame level.
Oh yeah.
And
Goodbye, Paulina. Thank you for joining us.
Bye-bye.
Peace. We'll see you again next time.
Oh, look, we're getting there. Where are we? Oh my God, we're only a minute in. Well, that's okay. I mean, the
That's
song's
all right.
2 minutes. It's
Song's
fine.
2 minutes. We got time. So maybe while you're doing that. So now I was going to ask you. I didn't know if you were going to do any more on it today, and certainly I can show you on the character. But I actually did.
Look, the drift's getting more and more intense. We're off by 3
yeah.
frames now.
Yeah,
See, this is
something-
why we go. Now we're off by 4, and it's the value that I copy pasted. That's all.
Right.
That's all.
Yeah.
And I just didn't do exactly to the frame on both. And had I pre-comped and looped with an expression, I would not have to
Right.
be doing
You
this
wouldn't- you
now.
wouldn't be doing this
But
at
I
all.
wanted a hustle yesterday, and now I'm paying for it.
Paying for the hustle.
Yeah. But I mean, we'll get it, and
hilarious.
we're almost done. Look at it. It's getting now. See, this is where we start noticing it. 5, 6
Right.
frames
and,
off.
and that's just it. And once you get 5, 6 frames off then it
now
just
you're like, it's broken.
it's just broken. Right. It becomes broken. Exactly.
So let's see, now we should be able to do it because I've gone through and cleaned up every Cutman one. And the way we're testing it is I'm just using JK to go through keyframes, and both the Cutman keyframes and the iGlow keyframes are visible on the timeline, so it's gonna jump. Now, if I nail it, I can just do the original paste KK, paste KK, paste KK. And as long as the playhead doesn't get stuck anywhere,
Yep.
I
Looks
know
like
that the
you're good.
keyframes are right on. So we did it. Mega Rant's in the corner like, yes. Yeah. All right, let's fit it.
Yes, Richie M. We are in front of a huge green screen.
Yeah,
and
it's
it is
gigantic.
it's a green wall actually. It's a curved wall, and it's actually being keyed through our broadcast software, which is Wirecast. But of course, you have green screen capabilities in After Effects as well via Key Light, and we actually have several new effects and filters in there. which will improve the green screen keying, fringing.
Oh, what is the new one? Because I know that color key is like not a thing we're supposed to use anymore.
Yeah. So if you go to
let's just do it on Cutman so we can see it.
Okay. So if you go to your effects and presets and just type in key, you'll see that there's a preset in there called this one here. So it's key light, the key cleaner, and the spill suppressor.
All right, so I see spill suppressor.
It's all. It's
oh,
a
it's
very
one big
long,
one.
Yeah.
All right, so let's pull.
Those are separate effects, but that's just a stacked preset. So it uses the traditional key light. So key light is an award, actually Academy Award winning.
Wow, look at how good! I just eyedroppered it, and now I'm invisible.
Seriously. And the cool thing is, if you look down here, so if you go to like key cleaner, so it's on by default, and if you were to zoom in to 100%, now you're not working with like hair or these are you got hard edges here, so it's not going to be a big issue. But the key cleaner will automatically detect things like edges on hair.
No, but like look at this, because like the line art is not perfect, and the key is messing it up.
Yeah, and you see when
boom.
Right, and you can see before and after. Yeah. So it actually does a pretty decent job there, and you can of course control some. Now again, here you don't need it necessarily because you've got the hard lines. And then the spill suppressor.
I'm invisible.
Yeah. And you can also go in there and play around with the screen mat. So right now you're in intermediate results. So if you were like to go into the screen mat, and you can adjust the black and white point there.
Whoa.
Yeah. And you can twirl that down under screen mat here. And you'll see have your clip black and clip white. So
beautiful.
Yeah. Not exactly what we wanted there.
Final result.
Yeah.
Look at this.
Transparent.
Not useful for this project, but pretty cool.
Pretty cool. So yeah, so that's it. So it's the key cleaner and spill suppressor, and on hair.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. And it's hair's notoriously the key breaking thing.
Key reason why most people stop trying to use green screen.
Yeah.
Because it looks so bad. I mean, it can very easily start looking like old school 70s chroma keying where you had like fringe around your head. And that was okay because it was just so cool that you could replace the background. Key cleaner and spill suppressor absolutely make a huge difference. So it's really, really good. Really, really good.
So we are coming together and getting this thing pretty close to done. We have this nice animation on the eyes, and let's layer the Cutman eye too. We're going to be using the copy paste, the whole layer. We're going to go to look at the expressions, which is on the opacity, and we're going to also key it to the drums, just like we did before on the other layers. And for me, it's really important if you're tying a bunch of stuff to a particular theme or a particular sound file or something, that the properties on all of them throughout the project are the same. Right. So we're going to pull the plus 25 off of the one that goes to the whole track, and I'm going to look at Megaran's because I forgot what it was. Right. Megaran Glow. It looks like when the drum amplitude gets a plus 40.
Right.
So that is drum amplitude plus 40, and audio amplitude does not have any math on it, so there we go. And they're added in blend modes, and look at how good this is looking. Oh, we got a really nice smooth animation here for some reason.
Yeah.
Look at this.
Oh, frames kicking in. Nice.
Yeah, this look how good this looks. This is awesome.
It's so fluid. And this is just with the classic easy ease.
Yeah, exactly. We didn't do any kind of
go
mapping.
in the graph editor and do any
No, we don't have time for that. No one's got time for that.
Speaking of, we have 1 hour.
We have 1 hour to finish this video. Right. One thing we're going to do is add the pre and end slates, the Game Chops logo. We're going to do a quick build. And also we got to get some frequency spectrum in here because that's just a thing that I just have to do on everything. So why don't we do that next?
Yeah.
So the way we're going to do it is I'm going to right click and go to new solid. I'm going to make it white because I never use white solids for anything other than that. We're going to go into our effects and presets, type in spectrum. I get questions on how do you do the audio graph thing so often on YouTube, and my short, I don't have time to answer this question, is After Effects, which is typically just what people want to know.
Right. No, we do not teach Nuke here. I don't know if Michael's doing Nuke on the side, maybe.
Boom. All right, so now the audio layer, up, down, full version. Let's see it. That's it, just out of the box. Let me boost up the maximum height so we can see it. Wow, it is gross. We're going to change our start. All right, getting into the secret sauce. These are the settings for the DJ Cutman Game Chops audio spectrum. Start frequency is usually 20, end frequency is 1000, frequency band is 300, and then maximum height is set to taste. And look, there's the frequency band on every Game Chops video, right there. Look at it, 300 bands. This is using the CPU. Of course, the maximum height is set to how big we want it. I have it set to almost 20,000. Realistically, we can have it around 2,000, that's fine. We're gonna map this somewhere in the composition, which is gonna be really fun. But I want you guys to see the low frequencies, way louder than everything else.
Yep.
There is a way to deal with this. And you can do it with effects. I'm not gonna show you that. I have a video on YouTube showing you how to fix this using built-in After Effects effects. It blows up render time. Like, triples it.
Okay.
And at first I didn't, and sometimes it caused like crashes. And I had a bunch of really strange issues doing it this way. And I found that while it's a little bit more cumbersome, we gotta hop into another program,
Right.
it's actually a lot easier to just go ahead and make a key version of the track with the bass cut down. So let's go back into Audition. Let's just open up. Where did I put this file? It's probably in Dropbox Masters.
Where did I put this file? The classic, most famous 6 words all creatives say to themselves at least multiple times a day.
All right, so up, down, down, full version looks like the thing that this video is from. Here it is. I'm going to pop in my favorite, the Fab Filter EQ we talked about earlier, Fab Filter Pro Q2. And as much as I love this song, I'm gonna pause it. One of the best things I like about this EQ is its display of everything. And what we're gonna do, and we can see, I'll hover my mouse, it will show us over time what the spectrum is, and you can see how much louder the bass is than everything. This is normal, but it doesn't look good running through the After Effects spectrum. So I'm gonna double click here, make a little low cut. Then I'm gonna play it again, take a look. It's much better. It's not sounding quite as good because we've rolled off the bass, but it's pretty good. Now keep in mind, we're only using this area here. Up to 1,000, everything above that we're not touching. I'm just gonna go ahead and do this, and I could explain how I'm doing it, but it's a lot faster, and I just do it.
UI is really responsive on this
It's
plugin.
beautiful. It's beautiful. FabFilter makes just some awesome, awesome stuff. And now we can see we have like this kind of even response. We have a little bit of hotness over here on the snare, but I actually have a feeling that that's going to be fine. I'm going to leave this project open, but I'm going to export it to a new file.
Okay, oh, and don't forget to process it first. Yep.
Do I have? Can I export it without processing it though? Because I might want to change it once we get back.
Well, okay, so you can do.
Can I like bounce?
You can bounce in the multi-track if this is in the multi-track. So you
Oh, but it's not. I just opened up the file. So
right. So did you open that from After Effects? Did you send
Nope, I just ripped it. So all right, let me
Okay.
apply it. I guess I could always undo it if I had
Well, I was
to.
gonna say, or just save another version.
Yeah, okay.
And then replace. And you can just Alt replace in the After Effects comp.
Right, exactly, which is what I would do.
Yep,
So then
okay.
let's go to, I'm going to save this. This is the up, up, down, down. I'm calling this the key track. So here is the key. I'm going to dump it out. It doesn't matter that it sounds bad. We're never going to hear this audio file.
It's,
So
it's purely for the visual.
right, exactly. And you'll see right away, up, up, down, down, key, up, up, up. We drop it into the project file, and then we just go ahead and turn that little speaker off. Bop. And back to our viz. Where are they? White solid right here. I'm going to actually take the amplitudes and move them to the bottom of the project because we don't need to really mess with them ever. Da-da-da-da. And click on the white solid. Here it is the way it is. I'm going to just change the audio layer from the full version to the key. I want you guys to see. Full version to the key. Oh, look.
Oh, look at how nice. Oh,
And it's much better, but it's still, the bass is still bigger than everything else.
Right.
Which is, again, correct, but not what we want. I'm going to pinpoint which frequency is too loud by changing the start frequency in After Effects 60. Does that get rid of it? Nope, it's right around 60. 100, does that get rid of it? Yep. So I know between 60 and 100 is still too loud. Let's go ahead, go back into this, undo, yeah. And then it's between 60 and 100, so I'm gonna go ahead and just make a new bell. Make it a really stiff one. I didn't know any other word to say it, and I still said that. There's the frequency we're getting rid of. So we're going to bring it down. Take a look at it. It's probably actually less than everything else. Yeah, it is. But
Right.
because the way After Effects interprets it,
It's gonna be okay.
it's probably going to be okay. So I'm going to hit apply. Going to write it. File, export. Going to call it the same old thing. Where'd you go? Where'd you go, bucko? Up, up, down, down key. We're going to replace it. Just let me do it. Don't tell me it's in use. It already exists. Would you like to override it? Yes. It's done. Click back. There we go.
Boom.
And did I do it too much? No, look, it's
No,
beautiful.
it
It's
looks
perfect, right?
Gorgeous. Yeah.
And like our snare is a little bit louder, but that's okay.
But that's okay.
Because-
and it's okay because it's also not on the the anchor.
It's
of
not
left
the end,
right,
and it's
right.
it's really it gets really obvious. And you look at a lot of videos, like the Pokemon Flow video. Is that still sitting on my desktop? That I did yesterday. Sometimes you don't have to do this if you can use it visually. Let's just take a look at that video real quick. That does not have this key track for the visuals, but I use the gigantic kick as a visual element in this video that I rendered yesterday during the stream. Of course, we're gonna have to learn about, dude, this borrow lenses ad. Like, I'm about to like, you could just like rent the $1,000 lenses for your camera and just, this is awesome.
Yeah.
I'm not endorsed by them. I guess technically they got I paid 1/100 of a cent to watch that right there,
right,
but
that's right.
what a cool service.
Yeah.
So then here we're seeing the full spectrum of the kick right here. Boom, 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 boom. And that's unedited. So for this composition, it works because we had this big area to the left and right that was open where we can use those big spikes.
Yeah.
But for this that we're working on now, there's really no place for a giant transient to be shooting up on one part of the thing. I really want to kind of keep this whole thing together. So let's put on a tune. And let's now put this visual somewhere. It's not gonna be pink forever, don't worry. But I think it would be really cute and fun if I didn't move it like that. We're gonna keep the solid layer centered in the whole thing, and that's allowed me to change the start and end points like this. I'm gonna put it on the ropes. Not good. Not good. We'll get there. Come on. Come on. All right.
All right.
And now I'm gonna change for the side options just to side A, which should be shooting up, and then I will go to the ring and put it right behind it.
Boom.
And now we can just go ahead and change the Y values of these. Listen, you know what? Is there a hide all keyboard command? Like in Photoshop, it's Option and then I.
Keyboard shortcuts, you're talking to the wrong guy.
Oh, that's right. Nobody talked about this.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, I don't know.
I never know
All right,
shortcuts.
so then we're just gonna do this.
Yeah. Which is how I normally do it. Anyway.
Yeah, exactly. And we're just gonna change this start point to right up on the.
And you
left
can
hand.
solo. I guess that would be the opposite of hiding all if you're just solo.
Oh, you can solo it.
That's
How-
the little icon. With
Oh,
like
the little
guy.
mole guy?
Yeah.
This guy? Is that what that is?
Oh, not there. It
What
should-
is that guy? Hides all layer. Shy.
Yeah, for which shy is set. Yeah.
Oh.
So this dude.
Oh, so. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Too scary. I'm learning too much. All right, so then let's take a look. Cool. So there it is.
The mole guy. That's what
it looks
this is
like.
the international sign for mole guy.
Yeah, he's got a little moldy face. So now we're gonna push up our maximum height even further. Ba, 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 ba. And one thing that can be fun sometimes, copy paste, make another one, and put it on the
That's
other
what I was gonna
row.
say. Are you gonna do the Nice.
And we're gonna see if this works. It might not. Again, I have to change the audio layer again to up, up, down, down key. There it is. And now I'm gonna see, can I continue the spectrum or is it gonna be gross? I'll start at 1,000 and go to 2,000. And now we actually have a longer spectrum that continues. The great thing about the 1,000 to 2,000 area, you can't really have like 20 hertz to 2,000 because that first area is so beefy
Right, it's
that
just
it's just
gonna
gonna
be
look like
constant-
nothing. It's
constant
gonna be look
amplitude,
like.
yeah.
And if you've looked at a lot of smaller channels or channels that may not be quite as
Right.
spending quite as much time, you'll see that the right side of the spectrum is like basically doing nothing.
Right.
But by having two separate audio spectrum things, one for the 0 to 1,000, one for the 1,000 to 2,000, I can push up the height of the second one.
Yep, to match more closely that of the first one.
And now we actually have this big old spectrum. It looks like maybe I pushed it even just a little bit
Yeah,
further than I need to go.
Right.
Come on, it's like 10,000
That's
pixels
right.
though.
Right.
Bum, 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 bum. And it's like, look, it's super hot. All right, let's pull this back. And I'm gonna actually have to, I did this to show you guys, and I realized that now when I want to change the color and do stuff, I'm gonna have to do it to both of them, but
That's right.
but it's fine.
You're making more work for yourself. But
I
that's
am,
okay.
But, I mean, the point is the detail, the
right.
making sure that you have the time. So then here we go.
Oh, it's so nice having it behind like that.
And like, how cool is that? Now let's select them both. Let's give them the added blend mode to see how that looks. Okay, it's okay. I'm not in love with it. We're gonna just do some trial and error, see if we have any of these blend modes that makes that pink look
Yeah, I was
cool.
gonna say
'Cause
maybe-
compositionally, there's a lot of pink and purple, so it might work.
So you just went to color dodge. I was gonna say, yeah, I would say maybe even screen or overlay, but yeah.
Overlay is kind of nice. Soft.
It's really
light.
subtle, so that yeah.
I think that's screen. Oh, it's cool.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
I love the fact that you got it continuous like that. Though.
Yeah, that
I thought you were going initially. I thought you were going to actually mirror it,
which I have done a lot.
but this is actually better because the mirroring would really visually, as a non-designer, the mirroring to me it wouldn't work because you're at this kind of weird perspective there.
Right,
So
exactly. It wouldn't feel like a
wouldn't-
mirror.
Right, it wouldn't feel like a mirror. So this is just awesome, so
Cool.
awesome.
Alright,
And for
so-
anyone who's like geeking out on the frequency stuff, you're probably like, oh, there's 1500.
And that a lot of the vocals are going to be on
Right.
this kind of quieter side, which
Right.
is cool. So I'm gonna just push the height up of the second half a little bit. Wrong one.
Right.
Oh, we're gonna just change the layer order so I can remember who's who.
So many buttons. What do they mean? You're talking about all the buttons inside the layers? Yeah, so you've got shy, you've got collapse transformation, continuously rasterize, the quality and sampling, effects, frame blending, motion blur, adjustment layer, and 3D. And then remember, you've also got master settings for many of those to enable them for the comp itself. So like motion blur, for example, which by the way, so
I don't use it.
You're
No,
not.
I don't.
I just that just popped into my head. Like you're not even using any motion blur.
No, not on any of this stuff. I'm not. I used to use it all the time when I was doing a lot of like
Flying
that kind
text
of stuff.
and right.
Yeah, but I haven't
It's
touched it
not
in years.
lacking. No, I just had the ding. Wait a second, you're not even doing any motion blur.
No,
here.
no, I'm not.
And you don't need it because part of why you don't even need it is because you're using blend modes.
Yeah. Oh,
So
yeah.
you're
Absolutely.
sort of naturally having this kind of like blended, softer, homogenized look, so that things are just gluing together. You know, motion blur outside of just seeing that kind of natural motion and what happens when things move. It helps to kind of glue the
Yeah,
look.
exactly.
And you're getting that sort of organically anyway with blend mode, so that's really wonderful.
I'm just pulling down the frequency bands because it felt like they were a little too solid looking. You can see now this one on the left. Really, you get the feeling of the banding, and that's
and look at that though, so cool. Like you're getting
the way it's blending in with the original drawing, the hard outlines, because I'm
Yeah.
using the additive blend mode and I've turned the opacity down, the hard outlines stay there, and the result is the characters, even as they get obscured by the frequency, we still perceive them, even
as
though
being
they're
there.
covered. So, and you can see, you can see the different bands here. Come on, what are you doing? It's the last day. After Effects is getting my laptop's getting rowdy, and over here it's like a little bit more kind of cumbersome. So I'm just gonna go ahead and drop down the frequency bands again. The parameter only goes up to 256, but you can drag it like way higher if you need to. But keep in mind, the more bands you have, the longer it's gonna take to render. So while I like 300 bands because I have an i7 with 32 gigs of RAM at home, that may be too much. You may not have, and nothing's worse than like setting a render to go overnight and waking up in the morning and having
Only
it
to
still
find that
going.
it's
Yeah.
still going, or
Or
worse,
that it stopped. Yeah.
died in the middle of the night.
Just
and-
waking up like in a cold sweat. A sheep.
Right. Right. If anyone who wasn't here yesterday, that's a reference to yesterday. The sound when your render fails is the sheep sound in Media Encoder.
All right, let's just push this guy up. Oh, it looks like I actually did not get the start and end points a little bit. Correct. So, Ran, I'm gonna need you to just vanish here for a second.
Now, what did you say your average number of bands is that you
300.
show?
300. When I use one frequency thing for a 1080p video, I use 300 bands.
Okay.
It's enough that it feels solid, but you can see the breaks
Right,
between
you
them.
can see the breaks,
I
yeah.
don't think that the built-in After Effects visual looks good when there's only a few bands, because if you make them really thick, they're just kind of round and kind of derpy.
Right.
And when there's
And then it's
so
also-
many
you don't-
bands that it's solid, it kind of I don't like the look of that. I want it to feel like a visualizer that's
Right.
going to.
And a visualize, and generally, if you think about even your like LED-based visualizers, they didn't even have 300 bands. It was,
No,
it was probably 30. you
yeah,
know?
exactly,
Right.
exactly.
So 300 is like That's the
For
sweet
me,
spot.
that has been the sweet spot.
You've proven it. That is the sweet spot.
Yeah, I guess it's my
Yeah.
thing, right? There's a great Adobe blog post saying how it's my thing.
That's right.
So
Proven by DJ Cutman, 300 bands for
right,
the
so-
audio spectrum.
something to keep in mind when you're not starting at the beginning of the spectrum, you're going to have a hard edge on one, and I like to hide on like one side. Like for example, this one that starts at 1,000. You can see right here where this band is like really sticking out, and
Right.
there's nothing to the side of it. Hiding this start point is a really great way to just sort of get rid of that. So I'm just going to tuck that behind this bar. Pop.
Oh, nice.
And while we might see him peek up, we cannot perceive the edge of the thing.
Right.
There's also a really great video on the Game Chops channel. By the way, if you like video game music, you can legitimately, thanks to my obsessive tagging, you can type in a video game name and Game Chops or DJ Cutman and then just find the video just like that.
Nice. Jonas the Mushroom, what audio equipment do we use here on set? So we've actually got, what is this? It's the Xenix. The Behringer Xenix USB-based sound card. That's what is feeding.
Oh, that's a USB board?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, so that's the nice thing. So we're feeding analog into here, but right, it's being sent via USB. So it's nice. Decent latency. It's plug and play, driverless, so super cool. It's only two out, so only stereo. And yes, thank you, Evil Cerise, and AT2020 condenser, XLR-based condenser mics. They also have a USB version of this. I haven't really auditioned the two back-to-back, but I have heard the USB version because the A to D is built in, and it's not quite the same.
Being able to have a mixing board where you can boost stuff in EQ
Right.
before it gets to the computer
Actual
is always
phantom
really
power.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's really nice.
Yeah.
Although the convenience of a USB mic like the Blue Nessie
Right.
that has some processing built in, goes
right.
right in USB, it's very convenient. And for streaming, it's the perfect
ideal.
streaming mic.
And-
Or to sound really classy on Skype calls. I just wanted to show this video right here where I have the edge of the spectrum hidden behind a masked little plant thing. Look at my stats, they're gross. So there you go, I'm hiding the edge by just covering it with a little part of the graphic. And that, because I didn't want it running over here, I really wanted the unobstructed sunset and kind of stuff. And if you go back to where the drop is, you can see it.
Yeah. I love the look of that too.
This one turned out, this is by the same artist actually. Christina did this.
Oh,
so this
she
was
did
the
this
first
too.
thing.
Oh.
And I was like, I have $50 and this other guy dropped out. Do you want to put a summoner's wand on the beach? And I sent her like a crude Photoshop of like clip art beach and then this thing from Final Fantasy. And she like whipped this up in like a couple hours. And I was like, awesome.
So awesome.
Yeah, I really like the sort of painterly look of the sky and everything too.
And yes, Jonas, we're actually using the onboard compression on the board, on the console here. So it has the first four channels all have presumably what is some modern digital variation of what I guess is their composer-based compression, which has been around for ages, and it's really nice. And it's just single setting, not unlike the Essential Sound panel that I showed moments ago, or 2 hours ago. Yeah. What's the hair treatment you go into daily? Really? I just Pantene Pro V. Occasionally Redken when I start to get some buildup. Right? A lot of TMI there.
All right, so we got our spectrums looking nice. And
Nice. 420, yo.
Oh, blaze it. It's
Blaze
lit.
it. Oh, you look what you see what he did there?
I did do it.
Okay.
All right, so then look, we're getting pretty close to having this done, and we're going to be able to have this whole video wrapped with end slates. End slates will only take me about 20 minutes, so I just want to make sure everything's good. We're going to do a little RAM preview during this.
Nice.
Now we have our glows synced
Oh my
to our
god,
face.
just look at that already now. Like, jeez, dude.
Oh, there's a fun thing that we can do to those visuals to make it even doper. Let's, I like this song, though. We're going to get back. It's a short little section. I feel like actually the visuals are bigger than they need to be, so I'm going to just pull down that maximum height a little bit more. Go down at, let's try it at 2000. Because we have made that key track, we actually can be a little bit more flexible.
Right.
than we would otherwise. I like to really exaggerate that height. In some videos, it really is like 10,000, 15,000,
Right.
just so we can see it. But because we've positioned this nice, because we made the key track, it's going to be a little bit more responsive than if we just dropped any old MP3 in and put it the full width of the composition.
Yeah.
And now we're looking really good. We're not having things clip off the top of the
And
screen.
it's not drawing all your attention, too.
Right, exactly. And we're like, the areas where there aren't big things are not fuzzing up the ring as they were before. Now let's just make sure the one on the right, I didn't bring that one down too much. No, it looks good.
Pick pass, pick last. They told us to get.
This video is becoming like really sick. This is I'm like finally there's enough ingredients
He's
here.
smiling at himself right
Yes,
now.
we're doing it.
Yes.
We're doing it together.
Yes.
So that's
Oh,
good.
hell yeah, man.
All right, so then I'm gonna dig into the Red Giant plugins. No, the Trap Code plugins. I don't know who's who.
Which one are you looking for?
Star Glow, and there it is. I found it.
Okay, yeah.
And I think that's
definitely Trap Code.
Yeah, it is. Are they the same thing now?
Yeah, so Trap Code was acquired by Red Giant, right?
Ah, okay.
So, yeah, I think you purchased your. I believe so.
Yeah,
A couple years ago already.
I bought Star Glow $99 from Red Giant.
Right.
I also have subscribed to the Red Giant universe, which
Right.
is the
Same here. Yep.
It's just amazing, like $20, $10 a month or $20 a month, and you have like all these transitions and all these effects that are just like hooked up into the cloud. I have yet another frickin' thing up here that for my plugins and my DAW and my
reminding you if there's
software and my
updates
Dropbox
things,
and
yeah.
my
Hey, you know.
and your new licenses. That's
your
the
new
most beautiful thing. Like,
licenses.
oh yeah, you just
Absolutely.
bought Starglow. Do you need to install it? It's like, yes, thank you. So here is Starglow. Let's make sure we're on the right thing.
Michael is apparently compositing things behind us, I'm guessing.
Oh yeah.
He's flying it in. We don't even know.
All right, so let's take a look at what Starglow can do. And this is the fancy making plugin, particularly on this stuff. I used to use a traditional glow, which I'll just show you really quick. If you're not in the market for a plugin yet, throwing a glow on your spectrum could be a really easy way to just give it more meat, more.
Yep.
See how just like default settings, just boom. Now it's like a little bit more.
One might say it makes it shine. Which is another Trap Code. Trap Code
Shine. I used to have Shine, and I don't anymore.
So, and you know why that is? Because it was used to death.
Oh,
Because-
it was.
Because Trap Code Shine. Yeah.
It's the sunlight over text in the movie trailer thing.
HBO, Showtime, every network, every movie trailer, of all up until what, like 2010, 2000, like everybody used. It's amazing. Still, it's just
it's that light coming through the clouds
Right.
effect you've seen everywhere.
But it just got overused. It just got overused.
So I actually really like how just the default After Effects glow beefs this up. It kind of glues this spectrum together. You still can see the lines, but it like kind of beefs it up. It also makes it, it's just nice. And because we have this additive blend mode on, that's being applied to everything, including the glow. So we get this nice sort of volume added to this.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave you for just 1 second.
Oh,
I'll
yeah.
be right back. So keep on working.
Yeah, so now that I have the glow on the audio spectrum, I'm gonna throw Star Glow on top of that to see if that looks good or not. Let's go. Sometimes layering these plugins can be a really easy way to get a crazy new style. I'm gonna just pick a preset. Let's try Star Prism. Nope. Let's try Warm Heaven. Okay. Let me try turning off glow now and see if that helps. Warm. I'm just gonna play with some parameters. I'll let boost light. Is that gonna be cool or not? What's going on, Starglow? I bought you specifically for this stream. Let's see. Romantic. And it's a subtle effect right here. We can't, of course, boost it and make it like way more intense. I actually think I screwed up the preset, so let me drag it back in. Starglow. I'm gonna crank this up to full so we can really see what it looks like. There we go. Preset. We're gonna try Warm Star. See, now we have this like glowiness around here. See the difference? Now we can adjust stuff like the threshold, make it a little bit more intense or a little less intense. I'm gonna make the threshold way down so we can really see the color thing. And I'm looking for something that's gonna complement the background, something a little purple or something. Let's see. Warm Heaven. That's all right. Warm Heaven 2. What about, oh, see, now we're getting the kind of like light bending kind of thing. These kind of like effects, which I think are really, really nice. We're gonna throw Star Glow. Oh, here it is. Star Prism. That's what I'm talking about. A nice complexity here. Now I'm just gonna change the threshold now so there's not so much. I felt like it was taking a lot out of here. All right, now let me try putting the original glow on underneath it. Oh God, way too much. Let's try putting that glow on after it. And did you see the difference? Before, very, very white. After, it's very, very pink. And now I can, and that's all just about the order of the effects, and that's why it's so important. So I'm gonna bring the threshold on this glow down, down, down. Oh man, it's nice here. I like this, but it's too much. Put our glow back on. There we go. No.
Oh.
Yeah, so we're
Okay.
getting somewhere.
Now that's kind of your signature too, I've noticed.
What, this kind of glowy?
Yeah.
I just like the-
no, dude, you're singing my song.
So there's a little too much. Less.
And what I've noticed in your videos that that it also tends to have it glows organically. Again, I'm very into this kind of organic look, which you have, but also it feels like fire to me. Like this is
Yeah.
something- Yeah, you really achieve a really cool look.
Yeah, and then I think that it's really important to get something that you can only get by tweaking with parameters. And
Yep.
like I know that maybe it's not the most interesting to watch me sliding bars and stuff, but like once you get something that is, this is where I feel like you can really carve out your own style. Simply with load up a preset and then tweak and tweak and tweak until you get something cool.
Yep.
And Starglow in particular has an opacity slider, so I can make it super dramatic, which is what it starts at, 100%, or I can dial it down. And the audio engineer loves to have it cranked all the way up and then to bring it down, bring it down, bring it down, and see, now we're getting somewhere. I feel like now the audio spectrum, the bars are actually looking a little bit too thick now that we have all these glows in, so I'm gonna go back to the audio spectrum. I'm gonna find thickness. It's 3, I'm gonna push it to 2. 2.2, 2.4,
Right.
2.35. That's we're getting a little crazy.
Okay,
2.3 looks good. Okay.
2.3, yeah.
And look at that. And now again, without the glow on the end of it,
Oh my God.
barely noticing it, and without the star glow on it too,
Right.
very flat,
Right.
even color. The additive blend mode is allowing the black lines to come through, but like we have the star glow, we have a little bit of shininess. I can actually maybe able to push up the star glow opacity so you can see it. There it is,
Yeah.
that's what it's doing. Then hit the glow to fill it out, and there we go.
Boom.
We can actually change the transfer mode on star glow to add, because it's always got to be add, but you may not actually need it this way. You could try it on overlay, hard light, and that'll all, oh, that made it gross.
Yeah, don't do that,
Soft
yeah.
light. No, don't do that. We're putting it back to screen because I felt like that was the best choice.
Yeah.
And that was the blend mode that came with the preset. So that's kind of a sign that I'm taking from the developers that this is the mode that is going to work with these colors and these settings. So now let me bring star glow down a little bit more. Get a nice balance here. There's our glow, filling it out. And now, we're only gonna have it on one, so I'll do a little bit of a preview here of 3 or 4 seconds. We'll be able to see it now with the star glow and the glow on it. Hashtag soft light in the chat. Yeah, I do like soft light for some things.
Now-
Soft light really shines if you're layering a bunch of stuff, but
You did it on the one.
not the other. So
Not
you can
the other,
definitely
so
see
yeah.
the difference on the spectrum on the left ring has these effects. The one on the right does not. And you can see now how the one on the left's got the magic. I don't know a better way. It's just
Yeah.
it's the
Yeah.
magic.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
star glow and glows in general can really add that kind of just so cool, like fire, like galaxies. It's the magic. And there's presets in star glow that's like they have like words like magic and romance and these emotional words that are
Right,
nothing
yeah.
visual.
Right.
I don't know what romance looks like. That's a different conversation.
Well,
But-
on second thought. No,
But
yeah.
but sometimes a glow or an effect can deliver that kind of mood through light or blending or something like that. All right, so we have about 12 seconds, and man, these renders are crawling now that we have a couple of effects added. That's one of the reasons I keep the plugins and effects to the very end of the project,
Right.
because we're able to do the puppet tool, the moving, the blending of layers, and the audio stuff.
Yeah.
Is pretty CPU light, but as soon as you get layered glows, that's like it's all over.
Which reminds me, I must show you after we do a quick render. I want to show you what I wanted to show you yesterday with the puppet tool. A couple of the other things that you'll find useful.
I want to
believe.
know.
Yeah.
All right, so let's take a look at these
Yeah.
3 seconds.
Real big
God, it only loaded that much in that time. But check it. I know this is a little. I couldn't do the sound looping. It was breaking my brain. When you can see how the one on the left has this nice like glowiness, we're still able to see the Shovel Knight and the characters behind it, and the one on the right looks pretty freaking boring now, even though we totally loved it before we had those effects on it. So,
well, and you know what it is? To use the same word again, the one on the left looks like super organic, and the one on the right now looks like a Boss digital reverb equivalent. It's like,
yeah,
it's
just
like a
it's,
digital
it's
representation.
there.
Yeah.
So this is the part that sucks. I'm going to have to keep everything the way I had it. I'm going to have to. Oh, that's right. I muted it. One, I can copy the glows. Just go ahead, select Star Glow and Glow. Go over to the other one. Paste them. They're in the same order. Boom. But the other thing we did is we changed the width on the audio spectrum. And I can't copy and paste the audio spectrum because the one on the right has a different position,
right,
a
totally
different
everything. Right.
So everything except for what we want is the thickness. 2.3 on one, 3 on the other. And you may think, man, Cutman, that is a difference of 0.7. That can't possibly do anything. But when we're combining these glows, we have all these bands, it can make a big difference. For example, let's get right in here, right in this happy guy's face. We're going to change it from 3.00 to 2.3.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, it's like nice and clean and cool. But what's going on here? It looks like we can see through part of the rope. Let's go back into Photoshop and see what that's about.
Yeah, like it wasn't a totally solid line.
Let's see. All right, ring. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's it. So there's
So this is how I'm going to deal with this. Oh my God. Christina's the best. I was like, can you make the ring bigger? It's not big enough for the video. And like, look, that's all we're using. When she do the whole damn thing. That's awesome. Thank you. So I'm gonna just go in here and in a kind of sus way, I'm gonna just right click on this. I'm gonna create a layer underneath everything and I'm gonna call it Fill. Not PHI, that's not Mr. Phil. And I can see exactly where we're having this issue. So I'm just gonna go ahead and take a brush, take it. I like to push it all the way to the hardest and then pull it back 1. And then just go ahead and do this.
Yeah.
And this is gonna fill in the gaps. And again, this will not be a visible change in the whole piece. It's just gonna make sure that spectrum doesn't break out. And because I'm doing it on a bottom layer within the Smart Object, After Effects is just gonna see the whole thing change and we're gonna have these layers to work with. Again, one of the reasons on the first day we made everything a Smart Object so we can go in and change these things and not have to deal with creating new layers, which can sometimes create a problem.
Yes. And again, had you not just zoomed in now to make that adjustment on there, probably wouldn't have necessarily noticed it without.
And then, you know.
And then you would have noticed it tomorrow and went,
oh yeah.
How could I finish this?
I just uploaded a video to the Game Chops channel, and the producer was like, "Hey, that master's just clipping just the tiniest bit at like 0.16 seconds. Can we fix it?" And I was like,
"So yeah, you should fix that."
Yeah, no, it was so. If you guys listen to James Landino's Pokemon Flow, you should definitely download the iTunes or stream it on Spotify because that's the perfect version. And the one on YouTube is the unperceivably not quite perfect version. Yeah. So
hello, a witch named Morin. Very nice to see you, Caitlin.
All right, so saving
again,
going back.
Evil Cerise. This stream is some legit entertainment.
And then look at that. Now it's all cleaned up.
Nice.
Dude is stoked, and we're all happy.
And it's actually really cool that we did that because we're like, oh yeah, it looks like there's some transparency because yes, they're drawn lines. So
yeah, exactly.
She didn't make them solid. That's kind of what made them look. That's part of her style. It looks so cool.
Yeah, it looks and it's nice in some parts, but as soon as you add like an effect or a new element that wasn't part of the art, you really have to consider what these lines are. And almost every project I do like this, there is some degree of me going into Photoshop, painting over a little bit of the original artist piece, because as soon as you get some generated effect, it can expose these things that in a finished piece you wouldn't know. Just like fluorescent lights can expose imperfections in your skin in the hotel bathroom. I shaved this morning and I was like, oh my God, do I look like that? I went into the bathroom in the hallway and I was like, oh no, okay, that's fine.
That's why I only like the bathroom with my iPhone light. That's
yeah, no, there you go. And it looks like we're having just a little bit of a straight. It actually looks kind of cool, but I'm just wondering where that's coming from.
Yeah, was that an? I didn't see that stroke. No, it's okay. So it's on there somewhere in the Smart Object. Was that an added stroke on the rope?
I don't know. I don't see where it is. It's definitely in this ring layer.
Yeah.
Let's see. I don't know if it's a problem, but let's see.
Excuse me.
Dude, you've been going for days.
I'll tell you what.
and
This
days.
is aside from the days and days. Sorry for that. But this is significant because this is the longest. When we're done,
This is the longest I've been awake.
I will have been streaming on camera for 5 hours. I've never streamed for more than maybe 4.
Oh,
so this
yeah,
is my
dude.
longest continuous stream.
I don't know how the full-time streamers pull it off.
I know.
I don't.
Like-
I have like 3 hours in me,
Right.
and that's if I'm like playing video games or doing something like.
So I dig 3, but you're right. That's kind of my threshold because once it gets over that, in general.
I found it, by the way, and cleaned it up.
Oh, nice. There
Just
you
went,
go.
and you can't see the difference, but
Right.
it's there.
And again, like as you look, there's obviously, but these are unaffected because you don't have any any other.
right, exactly. So they look
elements.
totally
They
fine,
look
and then
fine. Yep.
and then boom.
Uh-huh,
Now we're done. Oh, look, there's a
nice.
little chink in it. Let's go ahead. You see it, right?
That's right. Now we saw it. Way to go, dude.
Yeah.
Right, right
Nice
there.
job,
That's right,
dude.
nice
Okay,
job.
let's go. All right, so let's go ahead. I'm just with the eraser tool.
Yeah.
Get nice and. Come on.
Smooth. Ah, thank you, Cerise. Yes. Evil Cerise. See, even my enunciation capabilities.
Do you
are
have
starting.
anything after this, or is this last stream?
Well, no, we have 1 more hour, so it'll be Rufus and Michael, and I'll get to run the streaming system.
And you had to take a nap. the
and then we'll collapse. But
old sound engineer nap.
that's
yeah.
right. But we have 1 more evening, so we will reconvene
Yes.
later for sure. Oh, the astronaut is back. Oh, wait, no. Michael's putting is putting all kinds of things behind us. Yes.
Oh, gotta save it. Save the smart object and the document,
Yeah.
and then we'll go back to After Effects. It'll be like, oh, well, perfect. There we go. Boom. Oh, we're almost done. We got 20 minutes left. That's the perfect amount of time to put the bumpers in.
Nice.
So let me go ahead.
Don't let me forget to show you Puppet.
Oh yeah.
I could probably just show you what I want to show you in about 2 minutes. Is this a good time?
Yeah, I gotta pull some things in anyway. So
All right, this is
yeah.
a good time. Okay, so we'll switch over to me, Michael. So yesterday, when Cutman was animating Cutman in the graphic here, he was using the puppet pin tool, and I used to do a whole bunch of stuff with the puppet pin tool. In fact, here I'll even just pull this up real fast. This was a video that I made with actually Adobe Kush, who I didn't see on the stream today, but Adobe Kush, a fellow Adobean and fellow streamer here on the Adobe channel. And we were working with an artist called Johnny Encore in the Acrobats.
Nice.
And we created a music video with him. And I won't play the music now, it's okay. But you'll get to see. So this whole music video was created with the puppet pin tool. Puppet pin tool, green screen, and some live camera action. So
Oh my gosh, all these animations.
yeah, so all of this is the puppet pin
Oh my
tool.
god, that's so ridiculous.
Right, and then we composited live heads on top of the puppeted body. So that's actually him singing. That's not puppeted, but it's just composited in after the fact. So all this motion, and you can see it's all bendy and kind of loose, and the strings, that's all puppeted. You can see it's kind of warped and loose, but it was just kind of a
The
fun,
drummer is so funny.
Yeah, so Adobe Kush, myself, and Carl Soule put that together. And we did like whole tutorials on how this thing was built, and I just, for the life of me, dude, that's like 2008. I just couldn't remember. So went back in. Actually, Michael grabbed a piece of footage from Adobe Stock this morning of a man who was already cut out, and here he is. So we were talking about adding some of the puppet pinpoints yesterday, right? And I was saying how you can change so that like a hand or an object can go in front of or behind, and change kind of the perspective of where it's going, and also how to anchor, how to stiffen movement so that a certain point won't move at all or a certain area won't move at all. So here, so let's go ahead and do this. So I'm going to add a couple of puppet pinpoints. I've double-clicked into the layer here. And we'll add a few on his arms and kind of wherever the joints are, okay? So we're going to want the arm to move. We can figure out how that goes. Just stick one there and stick an anchor something like this down here, okay? So that's with the standard puppet pin tool. And now if we were just to grab this, you can see our motion, and by default the hand is going to go behind the character, okay? That's the default. Okay. So, if you hold this down,
Oh my god. I didn't know there were other puppets.
And this is what I couldn't remember myself. There are 3 additional tools here. So the first one is the puppet overlap tool. So this is where you turn on the mesh, and using this, now you can define the area that you want to overlap, and you can increase the extent of that. So like if we know if we're gonna move all the way up to, right about here, right up to his shoulder, and here we can actually drop back the extent a little because I kind of went into his shirt there, or his jacket, his suit, said by someone who clearly doesn't wear suits a lot. Just to show you very quickly, so again, we'll just go back to the traditional tool. Now that we've done that, okay, he's kind of doing weird hand motions there. Oh, whoops, there, all right, well, sometimes. You get the idea. So this is how you can move in front.
Puppet overlap tool right underneath that pin, huh?
Yep, so just hold it down, you'll see revealing other tools. Now, one of the things you were mentioning too is like, so if we were to do something like this, like maybe, actually, now that I added those other points, I've kind of got a bit of an anchor
he's
there.
dancing.
He's dancing. But you can add a stiffener.
Yeah.
It's getting very, So again, go back to the tool here. You'll notice, that we have the puppet starch tool. So let's go back. Let's fit this up to 100%. This is like a 4K composite here. Go into the puppet starch tool. Again, the mesh comes on by default. And now you're gonna add starching. So we're gonna be like, and we've got an anchor down there. So like, do not move. So if I adjust these points, that area should be still or stiff, and I probably want to actually add a little bit more to the legs. And you've got that same control for the extent and then the amount percentage. All right, and this isn't going to be completely accurate here, but you'll get the idea. All right, so now if we were to grab these, like, okay, so like I stiffened because I had that one point there.
Oh, so his leg's not like bending
That's
anymore.
right, so we've anchored the foot. And if you add more subsequent points in there, you can stiffen more of the joints so that they'll only move when you say they should.
Like as a piece.
As a piece. All right, but this one I figured I had to share with you because that's the coolest. All right.
Awesome.
There you go.
All right, let's do the build for this because that is scary and I really shouldn't have waited this to the end, but that's how I work. So here we go. We have our Game Chops logo. I'm gonna do the animation that I just wish I could just always have, and that is scale, like around 34%, nope, 34? Yeah, so we're gonna do scale 34% over 5 seconds going up to 38%.
By the way, now did you design this logo here?
Yes, I did. This is months and months and months. I know it looks simple.
No.
But we went through so many iterations, so many different controllers.
Simple because dude, it rocks.
Thanks, man. I'm so happy with it. It's very, very strong. We went over so many different ideas.
So good.
I was like, I can't have the original logo was just GC, like in Helvetica, just melded together. And we went to the controller because like I was like, this logo doesn't mean anything on its own. We need something that just says what it is. And I refused to do the record label thing, which is put headphones on an inanimate object.
Right.
I'm not pointing at anyone in particular. And this is rampant. Search for record label logo on, and it's record label. It's headphones on records, headphones on headphones, headphones on. Headphones on turntables, headphones on everything. So I was like, we're not putting headphones on it. And this music isn't just for headphones. It's for concerts. It's for gaming. It's for parties. It's for whatever. So. So when I was like, it's got to be a controller. That's what we tie to games. That's what. And
so did you model this after like an Xbox controller?
This is drawn off of an Xbox 360 controller originally, but it has been rebuilt to sort of reflect every general controller. So this is not what an Xbox controller
started out that way, but modified.
The arms are much shorter to look graphically. The buttons have been shaped up, and I just feel like you can chop down a tree with this thing, man. I just love it because like there's kind of a fragile looking logo. I'm not a huge fan of. So I'm really happy with how it turned out. I got to give credit to my girlfriend for helping me really settle on doing a controller and what kind. So my initial thought was like a retro controller, like a Super Nintendo controller.
Oh my god, I was just gonna say, I'll bet your thought was something like Nintendo, like the original Nintendo.
Right, exactly. Nintendo,
but that's
people don't know what that is.
They don't necessarily know what that is anymore. And if you didn't have all the Maybe if you had like the colors, like,
Right, exactly.
the red, the black, that kind
But
of.
that's very much nostalgia, and while a lot of the video game music is based on nostalgia, like I understand that.
Moving forward.
It's
Right.
about
Right.
good music.
Right.
And it's about this tie to video gaming.
Right. Today.
Gaming today.
Today.
And
A retro
Xbox controller confirmed Kappa in the
That's
chat.
right,
Yeah, so it started as an Xbox controller. I drew so many iterations. The original logo had like buttons, and the GC was like drawn into the controller, and the D-pad was there, and the sticks were there, and I slowly cut elements, and then when I finally had it just about blanked free, like in the GC I had like the buttons here and here and here and here, and when I eventually just tore it all down, I realized that the G and the C fit very well in the shoulder buttons part, and then before we knew it, another week of Illustrator tweaking these lines.
Nice.
I had the transitional logo, which looks like this. I have it open. The transitional logo, which was only up for about a month. Where is it? I know I did not get rid of it because there it is.
Oh.
That's the transitional logo, and it was before I decided to fill it and do knockout with the GC. Partially because I couldn't figure out how to do that in Illustrator. I actually ended up copying and pasting these vectors into Flash, filling
God.
them, bringing them back into Illustrator, and the vectors stayed together, and that's where this solid
That's
one
what
with the
that's all
knockout did. So there's like a couple of albums that have this, but I realize on the internet, everything's got to look good as a thumbnail, and you lose a lot of definition when it's this small, and it's smaller than this in a lot of places, and the top and bottom lines just sort of disappear, and you lose that shape.
Right.
So, but I'm really happy with the volume of these lines, though, so I was a little sad to see it away to the thickness on the side and the thinness, but having a strong...
Now, was that typography? Did you customize the typography, or
it's Helvetica black, I think,
okay,
or heavy. I think it's heavy, and
just adjusted the tracking or the?
I adjust the tracking, and then I vectorized. No, I didn't adjust the track. Yeah, I adjusted the tracking, vectorized it, and then I built the descender here.
Yeah.
Because the G's descender comes straight down, but I built it in to be like a stand, because otherwise it leaned a little bit. So
Dude,
and I believe I also adjusted the. Did I actually end up doing this? Yeah. So the G and the C. Oh no, there is a little bit of a difference here. But I adjusted the descent. I mean, like, I settled on it because it's what looked good.
I didn't notice it.
Yeah, but the G and the C. Yeah, the C comes down. Oh, but it's consistent on both sides. It's a little bit more on there. It's a little bit more on there.
Right.
But yeah, these parts of the C are also custom. And the G too. So like, yeah, it started as Helvetica and now it is. It's my own thing. It's
Someone's saying it's sacrilege if someone calls him herself a gamer or doesn't recognize an NES controller. I mean,
or they could be a child.
they could be a child. If they weren't around 15, 20 years ago, it'd be hard. But maybe that is kind of.
All right, so let's go ahead and I have the Game Chops logo in the front. Blah, 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 blah. We're gonna go ahead, and the way I do it is kind of sneaky, but I'm gonna do it the way I do it. I'm going to keep it as lavender, I guess. I'm gonna copy this whole thing. I'm gonna go down to the end of the song. LL, let's look at the waveform. That's the key. Let's go and look at the waveform over here. LL, that's where it ends.
By the way, have you saved recently?
Like probably a million times, but I just did now.
Good,
Yeah.
Yes, all right, save now.
So I'm gonna paste the logo here. I'm gonna hit the right bracket, and where did it go? There it is. And you know what? I'm gonna actually bring this logo back a little bit more to like this point.
Now, all along you've been saying that this song isn't out. So now, will you release this like now, or do you have a release date for this tune?
We don't have a release date for the tune, but the tune was finished in March,
Right,
so
okay.
I actually want to go back and revisit the master just to make sure it's 100%, because I had another artist who had a complete computer failure who was going to do this piece, and that was before I had met Christina, and now that Christina has come in and taken the concept and really did. Yeah, the poor guy, he was out of a computer for like 2 weeks. It was like Windows 10 upgrade, total break. It was like an older custom computer, the poor guy, like I can't blame him at all. But so luckily, I found Christina and she was able to kick ass here. So
awesome.
the last thing we want to do in these last 10 minutes, we have our logos in and out, but what I like to do is a build where we start with one element and we bring everything in. This is not a great thing to do in 10 minutes, but we're gonna try. Let's look at what is automated, what is keyframed here. Hopefully not position. Great. So we're gonna drop in the character. We're gonna bring all the characters in all at once, and then I'm gonna pull their layers out and make them work. So here we go. We got Megarans. That's where we want him to land. We'll just do 1 second for now. Bop, bop. Which will be too long. Let's see. Megaran's going to jump in. I'm going to look at this. Boop. We're going to do easing out of the main keyframe, which will make him come down with more weight. Thud. And the shadow's there, and you know what? It's just going to be there. And that's a little weird, but who cares? Oh, can we? No, his shadow is not separate here, so we got to do it like this. Boom.
And actually, it's kind of sort of obscured by the logo anyway, so...
What we may... I'm not sure how to do the build, but the idea is it happens right now in like a third of a second.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a shadow there, but whatever.
Yeah. I think it's okay.
Now let's do D&D Sluggers. Here he is. We'll go to his position property. How are we gonna? I think I would like to have him come up with the stage.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and get the ring in here too. P. P, please. Position. Where?
Does everybody know that too? You know, to access what Angie used to call the sort of standard animation parameters, she used an acronym PARTS. So P for position, A for anchor point, R for rotation, T for opacity.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
S for scale. So if you've got a bunch of layers selected like you're watching Cutman do here, and you want to adjust position parameters for all of them, select them, P, boom, position parameter pops up. Set your keyframes.
And having these keyframes, particularly in a project that's not huge like this one, you know, we got less than 30 layers here. It can be really, really helpful. So I have
Love
easing
it coming
out.
over the stage too.
Yeah. So we're gonna keep the viz turned off until it's built. Right now we're gonna see it.
Right.
I'm gonna build it, whip it up. I think what we're gonna do is stage will come up, logo will come in, logo will fade out, Ran will drop in, Cutman will come in. So let's get Cutman animated. We got up, up, down, down. This is the glow on the eye, glow on the eye. You're faded, man. We're real close to the end though.
My eyes are watering.
All right. Oh, shoot. We animated the position of those glows, so I want to use this nice little hack where the glows are just going to come in. And because they're tempo synced, if I pick a point where the song, like I'm talking like a frame, like a tiny moment where the song is quiet, we can just cut the glows in and we won't notice.
Yep.
And that's, you want to look really closely at all my YouTube channel, you'll see in the first 15 seconds, effects just come on in a frame. And it's usually quiet, but they're all there, and I can't even see them unless I'm looking super, super closely and really trying to be a dick to myself. So we're getting Cutman's position in here. We're just gonna pull him in.
More when you were right. And you know what? I think I've only had 5 espressos today.
Nice.
That is why. Nice. It's normally about 12. So thank you. More when you were correct. Same, Evil Cerise. I know. I need more. We didn't. That's it.
Look at
we
this.
never did our midday coffee run. What the?
Oh, yeah.
Right.
My entire morning was a coffee run. I just like kept getting.
I feel.
Look at this build. This build is dope.
Oh my god, dude.
Dude, the Cutman and the stage coming up. Maybe they should all just come together at once.
How long is the duration? But when it
Right now, it's like less than a second.
It's like a second. I mean,
You know what? We're gonna have them all come in at once for the purpose of the stream, and then I'm gonna sit on this project
You'll
file
sit
for
on
like
it.
a week.
Okay, so that's what I was asking you. So when do you anticipate
Uploading this?
uploading this?
Probably because of the scale of the song, there are 3 collaborators.
Yeah, okay.
It is a cover, but we have already been cleared by the composer to use it.
Right.
So that really helps. But it'll probably be up sometime this summer, but most likely in August.
In August. Okay.
Yeah. We're trying to get it out as soon as possible because the mix has been done since May, but we have to, knock it all out. Bump, 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 bump. So we have all this stuff. Oh, the Cutman shadow. And the open bar. All right, so we're almost there. How much time do we have? 6 minutes. Okay,
6 minutes.
This is what I need. I just do every project like this under the gun like this. I get stuff done way quicker. Shadows. There's the Cutman shadow, and then the ring foreground and the shadow copy. All of these things will come together with Cutman. We can't use the position on this bottom shadow because it's already automated. What did I do for the other one? I guess we'll just cut it in. We'll do this. Boop, boop, boop. Cutman 1, that's right here. So again, I'm adding the keyframes first. I know, it's the logo's in the middle of the world right now. We're gonna go like this. And this shadow on the ground, I'm gonna do the sussest thing. I'm gonna animate the anchor point just so we can get it moved in.
Yeah.
So let's see, we got these all selected. We got the position we gotta do first. If the whole ring is going up, then this bar should go up too.
Yeah.
So we're gonna take shadows in the ring, foreground, we're just gonna move it way down because we want it to just like whip up with everything else. Little late. It should actually be synced to the ring.
Yep.
Not
Right,
to
to the ring,
Cutman.
exactly, yep.
Okay, so bump. There's where the ring ends. Okay, so shadows copy my awesome layer names, and then ring of foreground. That is a good layer name. Gonna come here. We're gonna ease it.
Ring of foreground, new band name, I call it. Just kidding.
Okay, so we got this. The easing is the same. Anything that's moving together should have the same properties. Now you can see. We got this. Did we do it? I miss. Oh, the shadows, right? That we have to animate the anchor point for.
Right.
This is going to be hard. It has to come up after the ring is up because that's where the shadow layer is. So pull this anchor point here. If you click on the layer and move it, it's going to move the position, so I have to just do it like this. No. I'm like yelling at it, like I'm yelling at myself, really.
Do you do that? Do you accidentally? I mean, I always accidentally like choose the horizontal over the vertical.
It's like X and Y, like this is like one of the earliest
I know
things.
what they are, but I just tend to do that all the time.
All right, let's pull the Game
No
Chops logo
apologies.
out. Yeah,
No
pull the Game
apologies.
Chops logos out, and here's the build, really quick. Oh, we can't. We have to fix the spectrum. The spectrum
Oh,
cannot
yeah.
come up
No,
before
no,
the
no.
ring is
That's
there.
right.
We can't animate it, of course. We can animate it. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
actually. So let's do that. We'll go to the position of these two white solids. Click the position thing. We're going to look for the ring. Where are you, ring? There it is. Oh, right above it. Okay, awesome. Pull it back. Make new keyframes for the position. We didn't really have to do it that way, but we did. Pull this down, and I really wish I could see where the ring is. 960. Let's see if this is gonna work or not. Nope. How are we doing? 3 minutes. Okay.
The soundtrack is really like you can feel. It's like the tension.
Yeah, right.
The tension and release.
But we're almost there. It's like we're getting ready for the big.
Can't stop my shoulders. Is Paul Tranny still in here? Paul, where are you?
Look at this. And now we have it. The
dude.
spectrum coming up with the ring. There is our
Yes.
build. Boom.
Ooh, nice. I didn't even catch you. I thought you were just gonna fly it in separately. You actually matched the motion too. That's awesome.
Oh yeah. Well, that's because how we built the project, because all the layers are in the right order already.
Yes, of
I was
course.
just able to see. Oh yeah,
Yep,
there's the ring
it's
and
right
there's
there.
the spectrum right next to it. I was able to match the
Boom.
keyframes and just as long as the easing's the same setting on all of them. Again, one of the reasons I did not get into the graph editor
Right.
is I just want to pick, is it in, out, or easy?
Consistent.
And being able to do that, I can match animation really, really quickly. So lastly, there's some stuff that's not right. Oh, yes, Cutman's eye glow, and that's what we're going to use the hack for, because it's the perfect thing to show you how to use it. So we're just going to go ahead. When does Cutman get into place?
His
Right
final
here
position.
in his final position. I'm just going to go hit Option, left bracket, bump. All it does is shorten it, so like, glow's gone, glow's there, glow's gone, glow's there. And I'll leave this in. Maybe when I edit this,
Right. Legit.
I'll change it. Another thing we can do is actually, now that we've set this is when it needs to come in, I'll just go ahead. Oh, I can't do opacity because we're controlling it with an
you're controlling it
expression.
with an expression,
So it's just going to be a hard cut.
Yep.
Boom.
Hard cut.
1 minute left. Let's see if we can look at this build, which is only 1 second. It's just a super dank first second, and then the video is effectively done. Wow, pulled it off in
Yes.
6 hours. It's kind of amazing.
Dude, super amazing. Oh my god.
Rand's coming in with his shadow and all. Just try to figure that out, science.
Right, yeah, right.
But because it's so quick, it doesn't even matter. And After Effects is like, hey, buddy, sure got a lot of plugins on everything. now."
Plugins once everything lands on the stage there.
All right, yeah. Then so let's go. This is our first second. Look at that, boom. D&D coming up with the stage. I think it's really nice. The spectrum's already there.
And
The
actually-
audience is already there.
Look at the glow on the light though.
Yeah,
It's
just like
kinda nice,
it just
man.
pops on. Yeah, exactly. And like if you do these hard cuts, not fading, at the right moment, it feels fine. And we could do it to all the glows.
And actually,
but,
it's falling on a snare. Like it's falling on a snare beat just about. So you're.
yeah. You heard that, right?
I did.
What was that? All right,
That
so
sounded like-
clearly, so thanks very much for tuning in. The ghost is in the machine, and I think it's time that we finally give this a rest. So,
Dude, that sounded like we had like a voltage-controlled oscillator.
yeah, no, that was something, like a sample rate issue or something.
Yeah. Wow. 6 hours.
Yep, video is done, and this
Music
is an
video
in-depth,
done.
a ton of animation to control the audio. Everything's built up, very, very nice. I'm Cutman. Thanks so much for having me.
Thanks so much for being
You
here.
can check out my YouTube channel, Game Chops, or hit me up on Twitter if you have any questions. I love to help out if I can, and there's my socials up on the screen, hopefully.
Yeah. And dude, honestly, from all of us here, thank you so much for coming, gracing the Adobe stage, the Adobe studio here with your amazing animated album art creations, your stories, everything, your musical knowledge. It's been an absolute pleasure. But we've got another hour of Adobe Live until it's all over for this week. Coming up, we've got Michael and Rufus who are going to show you some additional features in Photoshop and Lightroom. So stick around for that. We've got one more hour. We'll be with you. Thank you again, Cutman.
Thank you.
Let's hug.